I don't even know what I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like you're gonna see me moving around, and like I'm gonna look for hats. I'm gonna look for you know what? I
It's
think
too late, Tone. You
Dude,
already
I'm
invested.
scared.
It's too late, Tone. You
Jay,
already.
what are we getting in?
It's too late, H.
What's
We
going
already
on?
we're already in the getaway car, so it's
I
like
know.
we can't get out now. Tone has already involved
We're
us in this,
guilty.
so it's too late now. So we either
Oh,
gotta
man.
roll. We either gotta roll with
I
it.
look good with a flat. No,
Yeah, it's
Nah,
a vibe. No, Jay's too honest.
he
no.
said no. He
It's a
said no.
vibe.
No. Tone, the Scully. No, the Scully, the Scully that you rocking right now works, and the reason why the Scully works because it goes with the theme of Toronto. It's cold up there, right? It's cold up there. It's you. You just got finished working.
I do like it's a fit. It's a fit. It goes with the weather.
It goes with what's going on right now, Tone.
Yeah.
Kind of like it goes like the Blazers go.
We got to put these on, and I can't slide them on easy.
Yep.
Dub City.
What's up, chat?
Now, Tone, if you need to bust the specs out, I mean, bust them out.
I will, but then I have to take off the headphones. I got to take because there's too much going on here with all this stuff.
Them things slide right. Tone, the glass. Look, Tone, the glasses slide right in. Check it out.
See that? Got our shades today.
The glasses slide. They slide right in, Tone.
I don't do it.
Look at that. The glass. They slide. See that? They slide right in there, Tone. No problem. Okay. Ain't nothing extra. No extra.
When I need them,
go.
Professor Fluent tonight.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah, we go. At some point, we're gonna go buy. We're gonna do some Fluent figures. So
yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm so excited to. Ooh.
I'm kind of charged. This is something
nervous
new.
and excited.
Me too, H. I don't know what
to
this is about.
I think I'll do it once a month. Once a month.
Okay.
Why am I wearing? See, then why am I wearing a beanie indoors? See. First of all, it's a toque. Second of all, because if I took this off, Jay said my hair looked like I put my finger in an electrical socket.
It's a little crazy, but hey, do you. Oh, man. Chat, what is going on tonight? Happy Thursday. We have some great topics to get into. We're going to touch on some football and basketball and all the works. Remember, you can always drop us a super chat. We don't always see all the comments, but we'll definitely get to your super chats. But yeah. You guys doing okay?
I have a beef. Can I start off with my beef?
Yeah, of course.
I have two beefs. I have two beefs. All right.
Not one, two of them.
Well, it's one. It actually is one. It is one. It's one, but there are two different things that bring. I hate stupid people. I hate stupid people. And Jay, you might not know this, or you maybe remember from your days in Jersey. Hailey, I don't know if you've ever had to deal with snow, but maybe our wonderful, brilliant people in the chat can help me out here. So I think I told you we got 6, 7, 8 inches of snow here yesterday. And I'm trying to understand as I'm driving, people who take the snow as they're shoveling their driveways, and instead of like normal human beings, push them to the side, are shoveling it out into the middle of the road as cars are driving by.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't like, how lazy are you? Like, so we should run it over and get rid of it for you because you're too lazy to push it to your side. Well, you think your grass is going to get smushed? Like the stupidity of people when the snow comes out. Forget how they drive. I mean, even from their shoveling, I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's common knowledge. When you shovel in the driveway, you shovel a driveway onto the grass. You don't shovel this. You don't shovel the snow onto the street. You shovel it onto the grass. And the snow that's on the street, where I'm from, the street sweepers come through. That's what what is it called again? The street sweepers come through. Yeah. And they shovel the snowplow. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm sorry.
And listen, and let me tell you something.
Such a long time.
This is no like other than it's the truth. Okay, it's not to do where I live, right? The snowplow comes, but then we also have, right? It's not a bad neighborhood. It's a good neighborhood. So snowplow comes, but then the other little mini plow comes and does the sidewalks. And then a third one comes. And you know how when it plows, it leaves that big, huge thing at your driveway?
Yeah.
We have a third one that comes and takes it off of that so you can get in and out of your driveway. So you just hit there with your snowblower and you knock it out of your driveway and you're good.
So there's no reason to shovel it into the street.
There's a process. Abide by the process.
Throw it out into the road.
No,
and it would. And so I'm taking my daughter to one of her many extracurricular activities, and this guy's throwing, but like he doesn't even stop as we're driving by. And so here's why I think it stuck with me worse. So I pick her up. We come home. This dude's shoveling his snow out into the road, and I'm like yelling at him to stop. And then I get home. And I don't even know if I want to call these people out and give them any press that they don't deserve. But I get like tagged 50 times by someone in TikTok to tell me that Jordan ain't the GOAT because, and you're a LeBron, you have LeBron number 1, yeah?
I do.
I'll let you answer this. Jordan can't be the GOAT because he shot 5, the lowest 3-point contest point score ever.
That's not worse than the guy that's telling me that LeBron shot an air ball from the free throw line. That's why he can't.
He can't be the GOAT either.
Yeah, he shot an air ball from the free throw line.
Well, he went on to say, Kevin Hart made more 3-pointers in a 3-point shootout.
Yeah. So I mean, and not only did he tell me that
get tagged in that, like, give me your break.
It's all directed at you.
Yeah, I'm like, seriously, guys, like.
It goes in one hand. That goes in one hand after the other.
For the record, he's tied for the worst because Detlef Schrempf also shot 5 in the 3-point shootout. But it's just,
I don't even remember Jay getting in the 3-point contest. I really don't.
I want to say 1990.
It's weird.
In Miami. Okay, in Miami, he got in the 3-point. I don't even remember Jay getting in the 3-point contest.
So I just for the record, because we're going to do by the numbers later. So I want to tell you, do you know who are all the players? And you tell me if we should kick all of these guys out of the Hall of Fame. Here's all the guys that shot less than 9. So less than Kevin Hart in a 3-point shootout. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Jordan, we know 5. Detlef Schrempf, 5.
Bye.
Vladimir Radmanovic. Remember him?
Radmanovic, yep.
Seattle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's shot 6. He's Antoine Walker, horrible shooter. He's
out.
Yeah.
Clyde Drexler.
Bye.
Yeah.
He's out. Sleepy-eyed Sam Perkins.
Bye.
See ya. And Steve Smith.
Definitely bye. Unbelievable.
Why were they in there in the first place? That's the question.
Well, listen, you know what? Sometimes most of those guys were okay to good 3-point shooters in game, but it's different in a contest.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you, the first 3-point. Did you ever shoot a 3-point contest?
Never. Mm-mm.
It's so different than in a game. In a game, sorry, I'm trying to find something. In a game, you're like in your rhythm, right? Like for me, I was more of a catch and shoot guy. So someone's passing me the ball. It wasn't like I was, like off the dribble. Right. And here you're standing next to a tray and you're picking them up. It's an awkward motion to pick it up and then, shoot it. It's just, it's odd. So even good 3-point shooters sometimes aren't good in a contest. That's not to say Jordan didn't stink. It was at 5 is atrocious. It's horrible.
Yeah,
but to say like he can't be in the conversation for the best player because
for that reason right there.
Why are we? Why are we weighing that?
You suck in the 3-point contest, Mike. So you out.
Anything, right?
No.
It's like saying
that's it.
LeBron can't be the best player because he never competed in a dunk off. You can't dunk.
Never. You never was in a dunk contest, so you out. You shot an air ball from. You shot it. He said
he shot an air ball. I can't believe someone told you that. He shot an air
ball.
He
told me that. Not only did he tell me that he shot an air ball, he told me that he shot an air ball from the free throw line, and Jordan's 2K rating was higher. I was like, I'm out.
I get,
I'm
yeah.
straight.
You
I was
get,
like, I'm straight.
no.
Thank you.
Jay, share your jersey and the reasoning. Everyone's asking about it.
Just so you guys know, to what we're doing is we're doing a segment tonight called Dame Time, and in honor of Dame lighting it to the Utah Jazz ass for 60 last night, we're gonna recognize Dame. So I'm representing Dame tonight. Absolutely.
Dame
yep.
Dame
I'm representing Dame tonight.
Wait, so what time is it?
Dame time.
Remember that? I used to love that. What time is it? Game time. Oop.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, before we jump into some basketball, I do want to ask. NFC, AFC champs are coming up. Okay. Jay and I are both Niner fans. Fluent is a Bears fan, if you guys didn't know, but he's here to hang. So, let's do some really quick predictions.
But hold on. Before we do that, I want to take a second and remember what today is.
Yeah.
And today is January the 26th. 3 years ago today, one of my favorite players of all time left us. And it was some of the worst news that I'd ever heard. But he's still a great player. He's still here with us. His memory is always going to be here with us. I still love him as a great player. I think he's one of the best players ever. And I want to shout out to the Bryant family. I still love Kobe Bryant and Gigi Bryant. We miss you guys.
Yeah, we do. Yep. Actually, before we move on, I want to hear both your guys's. I mean, Jay, obviously, you actually got to play one-on-one with Kobe. But, yeah, I mean, is there any moment that stands out to you that you remember that kind of, meant something in your younger life, later life, or just a special moment you have?
I was around when Jordan had hair, and they used to call him Air Jordan. I was in the building the night Stockton broke the steals record. I saw Dr. J play with my own eyes. I was in the building. I used to go to the Jersey City Boys Club, and they used to give us tickets to go watch the Nets. And this is when the Nets were garbage. So they used to basically give tickets away. So I saw Dr. J play live. I saw Dominique Wilkins play live. I was in the building when Michael Jordan was playing with the Bulls. I saw him play twice, right? But of all of those, I was in the building when John Stockton broke the steals record in 1996. I was there that night. The guy he actually stole the ball from, Eric Williams, was the guy who gave me the tickets. He's from Jersey. But of all of those games, I was in the building on that May afternoon in 2001 when Kobe Bryant put 48 and 16 on the Sacramento Kings in the Western Conference semifinals. It was the most awesome game I had ever seen in my life. Never seen anything like that before. He just looked different from everybody else. And it wasn't like it wasn't noticeably either. As good as Shaq was, as good as Webber was, I'm watching all of these dudes, and I'm watching this one guy, and I'm going, that dude is different from all the rest of you dudes. Is he always different? I don't know. But today, that dude right there is different from all the rest of you dudes. It was the most amazing thing that I had seen. No question about it.
He just stood out from everybody.
He was just better than it was these guys, and then it was him. And it wasn't a question.
Wow.
That's how good he was.
So dope. Fluent, you got one? I know you've seen him play too.
I know you guys are gonna hate this answer.
It's okay.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't bring it up for today's show. That's why it's not on the docket. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
No problem.
I still get emotional. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, no I know. I feel you. All right.
I've told you the story, all the stories I have about him. I've told you all the stories about watching him play. I've told you the stories about when I found out and what happened. I don't want to bring it up. I don't.
Yeah. No, I got you. I got you. All right. Well, yes, much love to the Bryant family, and from now and forever. But yeah. All right. Now we'll dig into some NFL. All right, let's start with the early game. The Niners and the Eagles, Philly and the Bay facing off. So, real quick, Jay, tell me the weakness and the strength for the Niners.
Well, the weakness is we got a third string quarterback. Yep. So that's one of the weaknesses. However, the game plan is good enough for him to still be successful. That's the one weakness that we have. Everything else is there, right? I watched that game, and all I'm thinking to myself is keep running the football. They're going to crack, and they did. It was noticeable how in the middle of the third, how they started to wear them down. In the fourth quarter, how they started to wear them down. Add all of that up with when I watched and I'm thinking to myself, why isn't George Kittle more involved in the game? And once they got George more involved in the game, the offense opened up even more. Running the football, pounding that defensive line like we did. Now, I think that Cowboys defense is the best defense that my 49ers are going to see this postseason. I'm not sure that Philadelphia's defense is going to be the difference in this game. I think that if Brock Purdy can take care of the football, I think we got a really good shot at beating the Philadelphia Eagles.
I like it. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's 100% like the yeah. Well, we'll get into that. Okay, Fluent, on your end, After watching Philly, some people have said, yes, they've had the easiest schedule all season. Do you think that is a fact? I mean, we saw Washington and how Washington's defense kind of cracked the Eagles. So do you think that was just an off game? What do you think the weaknesses and strengths are of Philly heading into this game?
The weaknesses, Philly doesn't really have, like, the only thing you could say is maybe they haven't been as battle tested as you would like, because everybody in the NFC East had an easier road throughout the regular season.
So true. Yeah.
That being said, this is the best team, San Francisco, in this 7-0 or 6-0 run that Brock Purdy has had. It's by far the best team that they're going to face. They have players on the defensive line, at the linebacker position, in the secondary on defense. They're going to have it coming at them from every which direction.
Yeah.
They also as a defense are going to have to stop probably the most potent offense that they're going to have to face, because they have a quarterback who can run, they have a quarterback who can pass, they've got some other guys in the backfield, not maybe as dynamic, but to give a change of pace. Let's not forget, this is, I believe, if not one of the top rushing teams. I think they rushed for like 266 yards or whatever it was. Like, this team can run the ball, but then they also have Smith and Brown and Goddard. Like, they've got weapons in the receiving core as well. So this is going. Listen, if Brock Purdy can come in and win this game, you can say goodbye to Trey Lance. There's no debate next year who's going to be the starting quarterback in San Francisco.
I already said that.
Tone, you don't like you're not trying to hear.
If he can come in and grasp this very tough offense, and not lose, they'd be nuts to put in Trey Lance, who, listen, we know for a fact Trey Lance struggled picking up the offense. Trey Lance has been there for 2 years. Listen, I know that's not a long time, but it's not like there was a lot of, you even said this, a lot of faith in him starting, and that's why Jimmy G was brought back and all these other things.
Right.
So, are we making our predictions yet, or we're just
not yet. We're just talking right now. We're just talking right now.
So I think that's where I think the Eagles will they're a great all-around team everywhere. Like, during the offseason and early on, they were making pickups, and you're like, what? Like, why would New Orleans trade them there? Why would I think Robert Quinn or whoever else how did they get that? Like, they just seem to keep adding pieces to this already really good team,
right?
That you're not going to know who's going to step it up. For the 49ers, hey, we know what that defense can do. We know that you have two guys specifically in Debo and Christian McCaffrey that can do everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they can literally take a snap, throw it, run it, catch it, can do. So I'm curious to see what they're going to, situations they're going to put them into to take full advantage of that. And as far as Brock Purdy goes, listen, one thing they asked him to do, don't lose the game. And he's very Jimmy Garoppolo-esque in the sense that he's not making mistakes. Now, I think he seems to have more talent, bigger arm than Jimmy G. So he's got some good things there too. But in terms of the other stuff, the jitters you would normally see from a young quarterback, we haven't seen them yet.
No.
So will the Eagles be the team that pressures them and we start seeing some mistakes? Well, that's what they're going to have to do if they expect to win.
Yeah. And
right? I don't think they're going to get gifted, 2 interceptions like Dak gave them.
Yeah.
They're not going to get gifted a horrible play that flattened for Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think they're going to get those, right? So they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play close to damn near perfect.
So, let's dead the logic of Philadelphia not playing anybody. Just so you know, Tone, in the 2019 season when they won the bowl game, they had the 26th ranked schedule. That's the fifth.
That's why I was clear when I said other people will say.
Yeah, of course they will.
No.
So we can right. So this is not college football. This is pro football. They had the 5th worst schedule in pro football, and they won a Super Bowl. So we can kill that logic. Whenever whenever Brock Purdy has the football and he's in the pocket, Tone, I don't feel as worried when he's throwing the ball as I do when Jimmy G is throwing the ball. Simply because I just feel like something. Number one, I don't feel like he's going to break down. That's number one. Number two, I feel like something good is going to happen. Whether he's going to hit somebody or if it's not there, He's going to either run or he's going to throw it in the stands. He's not going to do anything that's going to be detrimental. right?
A pick.
Now,
like a guaranteed pick. Yeah.
Like a guaranteed one. Which, by the way, H, is the pick that he throws, it won't be something that's just going to be bad. It'll be something that's game-changing.
Yes.
Where they end up going on a run. Now, with that also being said, the downside to this is Devontae Smith and Lenore having to cover Devontae Smith, that terrifies me. Yeah. Because I know that they're going to exploit him. Because that's a weakness, and that's one of the main weaknesses in our secondary. Now, our safety is going to have to make up for that, right? And our front four, which I think is the best front four in the game, they're going to have to get pressure on Jalen Hurts, who at this point of the season, Tone, I haven't seen anybody at this age in recent years more in command of the offense like him. And when I say better, I'm thinking command of the offense. I'm not saying better talent. I'm not saying better thrower, but more command of the offense. He just looks like I got this thing under control. So I think that's a strength of this. However, I think we can get to him, and I think we can rattle him. And if we're able to do that, I think he'll make some mistakes, Tone. I do. I think he'll make some mistakes. And if he can do that, I think we got a shot at beating these guys.
Yeah, I think in my mind, you have to take into account Cowboys are known for getting those penalties, right? Penalties
who they are
their biggest enemy. It wasn't us, it was themselves. So that's one thing that comes into play. Obviously, who's going to make the least amount of mistakes. Also, coaching is going to come into play as well. I personally think Kyle Shanahan is the better coach, but I do think Nick Sirianni and that staff has just been absolutely phenomenal. So, so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be nerve-wracking. It's going to be great. But out of those two teams, who are we taking? I'm riding Niners. Okay.
Oh, I said this already. H, it's a rematch of the Super Bowl in 2020.
Yeah.
I've been said that. It's a rematch of the bowl. I said that months ago. I think it's a rematch of the bowl game in 2020.
Fluent.
Say it, Tone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You knew it was coming, H. You knew it was coming.
Oh, Floyd, did you buy that just for
Eagles
that?
headed back to the Super Bowl.
Oh man.
Actually, no, this is old. This is Foles.
Yeah.
But they got a statue of Nick Foles in Philadelphia.
They got a statue of Nick Foles and
Doug Peterson.
And Doug Peterson, yeah.
Oh Nick Foles is never paying for another dinner ever in Philadelphia.
No, sir.
No matter where he goes. His money is
Forever.
no good anywhere to eat in Philadelphia, no matter where he goes. I don't care where it is. From the pizza spot to the steakhouse to a Philly cheesesteak. Your money is no good here, my man. Take this and go.
Oh man.
No doubt about it.
All right, moving on to the AFC. We got Bengals, who were actually I was wrong about the Bills, but that's a topic for another day. But I really did think that it would be a much closer game than it was. But the Bengals prevailed. They showed us what's what, even without doubts of their O-line, who's actually been very impressive, even with some guys out. And then of course we have a high ankle injury on Patrick Mahomes. So Fluent, you start us off. Chiefs, Bengals. Actually, give us the Chiefs' weaknesses and strengths. What can we see from them this weekend?
Well, their weaknesses we know is going to be their defense. Although their defense does step up when they need to, they're not a very good defense. Now they're not horrible. They're okay. So that's going to be their weakness. I think their running game is still is running back by committee. Like who's sometimes that's a good thing, right? If you look back to the Patriots, who's going to run it? Is it going to be McKinney? Is it going to be Isaiah Pacheco? Is it you don't know where it's going to come from? Right. So that's a good thing. Obviously and their biggest weakness, honestly, and I know that I just had a Chiefs fan on PC Gridiron last night, and he's like, we're not going to use the injury as an excuse, and I'm not going to use the injury as an excuse, but
it plays a part.
Patrick Mahomes is banged up. Right? High ankle sprain, which normally, if it was during the season, he'd probably take a couple of weeks off. He's not going to do that. He's going to play.
If this was October, Tone, he'd be out a month.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he'd be out a month. So is that gonna play a factor, right, in his mobility? We saw, in even the game where they beat the Jags. Great job by the Jags. Let me just say, great job by the Jags from a 3-14 team to going one score with the Chiefs. Hey, great job by Doug Peterson and that entire everybody on the Jags to get to do that with this team. So let me give them some credit too. When I'll tell you, I was looking pretty good with my crazy bold prediction that the Jags beat them. When Mahomes got hurt, I was like, we might have a chance. But that being said, so that's going to be the weakness. Oh, sorry, that's what I was going to say. In last week's game against the Jags, you saw where in the first, before he got hurt, he does this like Mahomes does this. He jumps off, jump pass, and he had jumped off his right foot, and he hits that all the time. In the second half, he had to do it from his left. It looked a little wobbly, right? Like we saw certain things weren't the same. So will that play a role? Because last year, we remember, right, he threw that late pick that cost them, that I think would closed out the game against the Bengals. So that's what but in terms of their strengths, they still have the best quarterback in football, sitting there behind center, and they've got weapons, right? They've got Kelsey, Juju, McCole Hardman supposedly is going to be practicing, and he's going to be back. So McCole Hardman, excuse me if I think I said his name. So they're just all the weapons that they have on offense. So they're as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, they have a shot to win. They're going to put points up on the board.
Which, by the way, Tone, I'm glad you brought that up because I want to piggyback off you and I want to ask you a question. You know this Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow?
Yes.
You know it's a thing. You know it's a thing. I couldn't wait to talk to you about this today. Yes, it's a thing.
What's a thing?
Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
who's big. The best?
It's a thing, Tone. I just want to make
No. Okay.
Yes, it's a thing.
But
think of it this.
But who has? I mean, I think an argument people are using for this is that look at Patrick Mahomes' unit around him and look at the Bengals unit, right? So I think
I definitely want to get your insight on this, though, Tone, because I when I heard that this was a thing, the first person I thought about was you. I'm like, Tone, this is a thing. Yes, it is.
It's a thing because people want to make it a thing, right? Joe Burrow, if we're talking about who's better, Joe Burrow still has a lot to prove. He's got to win a Super Bowl. Mahomes has done that. Burrow has not. Now, does Burrow and or the Bengals have his number? So far they do, right? And it reminded me, I said this yesterday, it reminds me of, Peyton Manning and the Patriots. Peyton Manning couldn't get by the Patriots, couldn't get by the Patriots until he did. That didn't make him any less great, but yeah, I don't think he's there yet. But listen, I think Burrow has really put people who have a really hard time not saying he's number 2.
Hard time. And with all I don't have this, from a talent standpoint and from what Patrick Mahomes has done, he is the best quarterback in the NFL.
He is the best quarterback in the NFL.
I don't know.
I will say this: it was Mahomes, and then there was like this gap, and then we were talking to everybody else. So maybe Burrow's come to here, but I still think there's a gap. But Burrow's only in year 3? 4? What is he? 3?
He missed that first season because he got his knee torn up. Right? He missed that first season because he got his knee torn up. But then after that, he's been rolling ever since. Yeah. Right? He's been rolling ever since. So the way that the Chiefs use Kelsey, he's going to be matched up with Fred Warner a lot. He's going to be matched up with Fred Warner a lot. Not only is he going to be matched up with Fred Warner, I think he's going to get jumped, Tone, because I think that he's their bread and butter. He's the guy, and you and I have had this conversation, Tone. When Tom Brady comes to the line of scrimmage, where is he looking? He's looking to the left and he's looking to the right. Who is he looking for? Okay, there's 87 right there. That's his guy. When Joe Montana would come to the line of scrimmage, where's number 80? There he is right there.
Fred Warner.
Not Fred Warner. I'm thinking
you're jumping ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about my linebacker. I'm sorry. I kind of got I got Greenlaws is who I'm thinking about. So with that also being said, right? Patrick Mahomes, when he comes to the line of scrimmage, he's looking for Kelsey. Where's Kelsey line? Despite however the offense is constructed, he's looking for Kelsey. Where is Kelsey at? So to neutralize Kelsey, you put linebackers on him who are speed guys, not just speed guys, physical guys. Well, I think we got to do the same thing I think that Cincinnati, I don't know if they're going to be able to handle that. I think that that's going to be a difficult thing for them. As even though they're doing a lot of yapping too, because they've said we haven't seen anything. I think their linebacker said they haven't seen anything that they haven't been impressed with the Kansas City offense. Which, wow, if you're going to say that you haven't been impressed with Patrick Mahomes and his offense, that's pretty incredible.
Burrowhead,
right?
Yeah,
Which I can appreciate that, but with their quarterback being banged up, I mean, with Patrick Mahomes being banged up, that is an advantage for Cincinnati.
Yeah,
it just depends on how they use Kelsey. It depends on how they use Juju and that running game, because a part of that running game that's going to be taken away is Patrick Mahomes isn't as mobile, right? So him extending plays like he normally would do, that's not going to be going on. And I think that they're going to put not only are they going to put a lot of pressure on him, Tone, they're going to test that ankle. We want to see how healthy you really are.
Yeah, and let me the other names popped into my head now. So obviously Kelsey, we know Kelsey, and we know that we mentioned the running backs, but then it's Juju, it's
who's kind of disappeared. Let's be honest.
He'll be okay. Valdez Scantling, Kadarius Toney. It was a really good pickup, and I think you're going to see a lot of him. So, and then like I said, I mean, Cole Hardman looks like he's practicing, so he might play. So they've got a lot of weapons to throw to. As far as the Bengals go, it's interesting. Last year, three of the four teams were in their respective AFC and NFC championship games.
Right.
And because of my household affiliation, I picked Cincinnati to beat the Chiefs, even though I didn't believe it. And now I'm a believer. You know, when with that, their offensive line just they're dropping like flies, and Joe Burrow just continuously finds a way. And you know, I feel like if Joe Mixon can run the ball and buy him that split second right on play action that he needs, I think Burrow and again, it has to do with the injury too, but I think the Bengals, that offense and their defense, listen, what are the two things that really win games? Forget all the fluff, right? Everybody likes to see quarterbacks throwing for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. What really wins football games is, can you run the ball and can you stop the run?
That's it.
And I think that the Bengals do that better than the Chiefs. So now you have my pick.
And the most important thing the most important thing that we can't leave out, and I'm an advocate of this, we can't act like the Bengals don't own the Chiefs. They own y'all.
Until they don't. Until they
don't. Like you just said, Tone.
Yeah.
Until y'all don't.
And this is y'all. We're gonna see this battle probably for the next decade. Like, this isn't something that's just gonna go away. But okay, so
I'm posting it tomorrow. By the way, I'm posting it tomorrow where I picked the Rams. It was on the show Table for One where I picked the Rams and the Bengals. I'm gonna post it tomorrow I'll try to do it tonight if I get to it. But
okay.
So just remember. So now I got Eagles and Bengals.
Bengals, and then Jay and I both writing that rematch.
You're obviously going 49ers, but that's a homer pick.
Of course. But I won't lie. Like, I'm definitely nervous. I see the Brock Purdy could make or break this opportunity for us. But either way, I've been so impressed with him, and I'm ride or die with him at this point. Like, I think he's our future. So yeah, should be good either way. All right, Fluent.
So you two both have 49ers and Chiefs?
Yeah, we both had that since the offseason.
49ers and Chiefs. Okay.
And you're just the opposite.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see.
All right, Fluent. So we have a new segment called Fluent Figures. And Fluent's gonna introduce something to us. So let's get it.
Check it out.
Fluent Figures, sponsored by no one.
We need to get you a sponsor.
Sponsors, where y'all at, man? Come through. Check us out.
I'm just gonna run it again. I really like. Did you notice what I did there? You can't see it because of the Fluent Chill logo. Let me move that for a second. Did you see where it says
sponsored by no one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
did you notice the word figures has numbers in it? Like, it's very very creative. Very creative to people that put this stuff together. Okay. All right. So here's how we play the game. Chat, you guys feel free. You can be in on this as well. I'm going to give you a topic. I'm going to give you a number. And you're going to tell me what that number represents.
Mm-hmm.
Fair, easy enough?
Yep.
All right, here we go. We're starting. International basketball. International basketball. The number is 0. 0. You
like
can
in the game.
Basketball.
What's that? You can
Like
either
on the
ask
court?
a question or ask for a clue.
Okay. Is it something used?
International basketball.
Is he something used in reffing?
Kind of.
Does
it deal? Ask a question or get a clue, Jay?
Does it deal with winning?
No.
Is it used in the regular season or postseason or both?
Both.
International basketball.
Here, I'll give you a clue. This is for Travis Weems in the chat. The clue is it's something to do with the 1992 Dream Team.
0. I'm stumped.
Okay, last question. Does it represent a specific player that we would know?
No.
Or like
it is not Christian Leitner's minutes.
Okay.
Jimmy 3 names. Incorrect, but a very good guess. He said minutes they trailed. That's actually a very good guess. 0.
0.
And it's not Chris, 0 losses. Another great guess. 0 international players. Yeah. No, 0 in this one is the number of timeouts they used in that entire tournament.
I was going to say fouled out.
0, 0, 0.
I was going to say fouled out. But when you go, it's really not. You know why? Because when you go on 18-0 runs, when you go on 23-0 runs, there's no reason to call timeout. The other team, on the other hand, they want to slow this down.
It's still very impressive. Okay, so now you get the gist. Now you get the gist of it. Okay, 0. Now you get the gist. All right. This one has to do with current day football. Current day football. And the number is actually a percent. It is 0%. 0%.
You've had 0 quarterbacks in NFL history, third string, take their team to the Super Bowl.
That's true.
Is that true? That's crazy.
Yes.
Well, that's still 0%. It's going to be Brock is not going to be the first one. Okay, it is not that. The clue is it's 0% chance. 0% chance.
Oh, okay. I got this.
You got it? Okay.
0% chance.
0%. I'll read the stats. Travis is the best. 0% chance the Niners are losing. 0% chance Dak has won a big game.
I was actually going to say that. I was actually going to say 0% chance.
Oh, it's NFL, my bad.
Oh, FIFA boys, 0% the Niners beat Philly. There we go.
So it's
I like
current
that
day,
one.
like
Current. It's current NFL news. 0%.
Okay.
0%.
Is it a specific player stat?
It is specific to a specific player, yes. And it's an off the field news story.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
that Jalen Hurts has 0% men on his team, on his like managerial team. He only has women. That I don't know. That's off the field. Is that true? Yeah, he has an all-female staff.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
There's a 0% chance that my linebacker for the 49ers is going to play this weekend because he got into a domestic issue.
There is 0% chance. I'll give you the answer now. There is 0% chance that the Damar Hamlin body double conspiracy theory is true. 0%.
I hate 0%. People have too much time on their hands.
My man said that, I got a phone call today from my man who's a conspiracy. He said he don't believe in conspiracy theories. That's the first thing he said to me. Yo, I got a question for you, y'all. Is this dude Hamlin still alive? What? Are you kidding me?
People are like truly running.
Serious right now?
All right, we got 3 more.
This is 0% chance.
This is hard because it could be anything.
Okay, this is
well. No, I like it. I like it.
It's the first time, so like next time, I'll know to make it a little bit easier. All right, this one has to do with NBA. This one has to do with NBA. The number is 7.
Mm-hmm.
Number is 7, and it is something. 7. It is something that has only happened once ever in the history of the NBA, and the number is 7.
Jay, it has to be a game 7, right? Probably.
It's only happened once.
So you get a clue or a question. NBA, something that has only ever happened once in the history of the NBA, and the number is 7.
And the number is 7.
Does it have to do with an accolade, like a MVP
No.
at Finals?
No.
Okay.
Does it have to do with Game 7?
I know it.
No.
It does not have to do with Game 7.
Does not have to do with Game 7.
So Game 7 is out, and it has to do with the number 7. Does it have to do with Pistol Pete?
No.
Okay.
I'll even tell you the player. I'll even tell you the player it has to do with, and I bet you still guys don't get it. So the player is Cal Boulder. Cal Boulder.
I don't know.
Cal
what
Boulder
year?
did something that has only ever been done once in the history of basketball, and it's the number 7.
7. Oh wait, that was there a technical limit back in the day?
And shame on you, Hailey, because it was in November. I'll even tell you the date. November 14th, 1999, Hawks versus Blazers, your team. And yes, Lint Liquors and Travis Weems and Bubba G Guts have gotten it. And Cliff Productions, 7 fouls is correct. 7 fouls. Cal Boulder, the only player in NBA history.
There's no limit.
Here's the best part. So you know the rule. If you have no other players, like if everybody's hurt or fouled out and there's only 5 players left, this isn't what happened, by the way. But if you only have 5 players left, you can actually go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 27 fouls. It doesn't matter because you have to have 5 players on the court the whole time.
Can't foul out.
What happened with Cal? With Cal, excuse me, the scorekeeper just wasn't paying attention and didn't tell them that he had his 6th foul. So then when he got the 7th one, they're like, "Oh, oops, too many."
That's so random.
So Cal Boulder, November 14th, 99, Hawks versus Blazers had 7 fouls. All right, this one might be
that's a good fact.
This one might be easier. Because this is NBA, and it's I mean super duper recent. Okay, the number is 30. And it has to do with LeBron James. There, I'll even give you a hint right off the bat.
Oh, that's easy. He scored 40 against all 30 teams in the NBA.
Oh yeah. That's like up 2 days.
I mean, that was too easy.
Clippers was the last team, right?
That is correct. Yes. Yeah. The only player in NBA history to drop 40 on all 30 NBA teams. LeBron James. That's ridiculous, by the way. So congratulations to King James for that. And here we go. The last one. It is a 2 numbers. Okay. 119, 123. Current NBA 119, 123.
Is this a Luka game?
It is not the Luka game.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember.
123, 119. That's not a score.
It is not a score.
Oh.
That's not a score.
119.
So it's not a score. 119, 123. Is it the amount of shots, the total that the teams had?
Not that the team has had. No.
A player.
Part of it is that, yes. Is a player's shots. Yes. You are getting very warm.
123, 119.
That's with a comma, like a comma. 119, comma 123.
Okay, here I'll give you the last hint. I'll give you. So a player, 119 and 123 represent 2 things that they did. As of yesterday, just for anybody who's trying to Google it.
I'm stumped, Tom.
You stumped?
All
right. I am.
119 is the number of field goals by Ben Simmons. 123 is the number of personal fouls.
Yes.
He has more personal fouls. Than field goals.
I think I did. I might have seen that.
Yes, he does.
This season, which is how do you have the only person, I'm going to give you a bonus question here, but first let me say this. So the number of field goals made versus the personal fouls for Ben Simmons. Okay, here's your bonus. He's shooting 0. Now it's 0 for 1, but he's shooting 0% from 3, and he's shooting 43% from the free throw line.
Bleh.
How the hell is this guy in the NBA?
Bleh.
So
he's not going to get better, I don't think. Like he'll be average, but like our team's going to really want him, you know?
This was not on the agenda, but I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourselves, guys, because you didn't do that great. I know it was hard though.
I'm trash, right?
I'm going to let you redeem yourself. There's one player that I know of. There might be more. But there's one player that I know of in NBA history, that has more personal fouls than field goals attempted. Than field goals attempted.
One player
that has more fouls,
more personal fouls than field goals.
Is it a star or role player?
Andre Drummond.
I'll tell you this: he's played for 10. He played for 10 years in the NBA, and I'm going to give you even more information on him. He shot 40% from the field. Okay, he shot 0% from 3 for his career. He shot 46% for his career from the free throw line.
Oh, that's easy. That's easy right there.
Go ahead.
That's one dude. Just ring the bell. Boom. That would be Mr. Ben Wallace.
Incorrect.
Oh.
I was going to give
0% from 3.
I was going to give you that. But no.
I thought it was Ben Wallace. You said 40. You said 46% from the free throw line. I'm like, yep, that's Ben Wallace.
Yeah, but he played 10. I think Ben Wallace. I don't know how many years.
Ben Wallace played a little longer than 10 years. That's correct.
Oh yeah.
You guys clearly don't watch my content, so I will tell you who it is because it was just a bonus question. Michael Ruffin, who I call
Ruffin went to University.
Did you recently post a video?
I've reposted it.
Okay.
I call him the WOT. The worst of all time. He in 10 seasons, which I think is insane, averaged 1.7 points, 3.9 rebounds, 0.6 assists. And
I think he went to the University of Tulsa. I remember Mike Ruffin.
God, over a decade.
So 1.7 points, 2.3 fouls.
I wonder what his highest scoring game was. Like 3 points.
And that's hey, listen, he clearly did something to last 10 years. But hey, I gotta bug on him a little bit. So all right, that was the first episode of Fluent Figures.
I liked it. That was good.
We gotta give you information, right?
Yeah.
You know that stuff.
I like those facts, yeah.
And just so you guys know, Michael Ruffin is not related to David Ruffin from the Temptations. No, he is not. So just so you guys know. No, he is not. No, he is not.
Oh my god. All right.
What's next up?
Dame. We have to talk about Dame. That's my guy, one of my favorite point guards of all time. One of the
one of? You said it was your favorite. Now you're switching?
Well, Steph, but you guys don't consider Steph. Well, I don't know if you do, Jay. You guys think he's you don't.
I do not.
Okay, I think about that constantly.
Game or super chats?
Let's start with super chats first.
Yeah, super chats first. Okay. Let's do some super chats.
Wait, you guys are kind of crazy because in reality, like, yes, there are games when Steph's doing Steph things, which is just unconventional play, but he is a point guard. Like, if you do watch all his games, there are nights where he is.
Nope.
Just because he plays off ball so much. There's games where he doesn't, though. There are a few.
But listen. The reason it's a debate is because it's close.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, what the two guard, the shooting guard, do you know the other name for it? It's called the off guard. It's called the off guard because you play off ball. And if you play off ball 51%, by definition, you're an off guard. Now he plays more than that, but it's 51%. So to your point, does he play, even if he played point guard 49% of the time, he's playing off ball 51%. Yeah. So by definition, he's an off guard. But again, it's close enough that you can argue. And again, people get so I hate having this conversation, so we're gonna move on. But we'll get so caught up in, but he also passes. Yeah, he's also a playmaker. Yep. So Jokic brings the ball up and passes. It doesn't mean he's not a
Exactly.
center. He's still just because you do more
Positions have
things
kind
doesn't
of
mean you're
they've changed. Yeah. All right, super chats. Let's go.
All right. Larry Bird is not a power forward, Dub. He is a small forward. Go watch more game tape. He played more on the perimeter than in the post. All right. Super chats. Yes, my apologies. Here we go. We start off with my favorite.
Aramis Jones, what is good? As a Pels fan, I don't agree with him being in the All-Star game with the amount of games missed. Who's him? Oh,
Zion.
Zion. I think Sabonis should have gotten the nod. Brother is playing with a messed up hand and still putting up solid numbers when most people would sit out.
Right. And you gotta remember
1,000%.
You gotta remember what the All-Star game is.
Yeah.
The majority of it is about the fans, and I'm not surprised that Zion is starting. I had Zion starting in the All-Star game. Yes, I did.
Yeah. If he's healthy enough to be there, like he'll be there.
I had him starting in the All-Star game. Yeah, I did. Simply because of the fan voting.
Yeah. I was gonna say you cannot. That's why you can't use All-Star. How many times someone's been an All-Star in any conversation about who's better, because the All-Star game is, even though they moved it to 50%, it was more before. It's still for the fans. And a guy like Sabonis, no disrespect, like I'd rather watch Zion play than Sabonis. Zion is way more exciting. Like if they get out on a break, I'm not standing up to see what Sabonis is gonna do.
Right.
I'm standing up to see what Zion's going to do.
Right.
So again, for an All-Star game, it makes sense. It's for
entertainment. But I do agree with it. I agree with Aramis though. Like if we're talking like quality and just the way they've played this season, like Sabonis has been insane. Like he definitely deserves more credit. But
he's almost a 20-10 guy. Sure.
He's been
the only person.
Look at them. They're 4 seed. The only person.
Three. Yeah. The only person that would rather watch Sabonis over Zion is like Ox, because he's a. He's
a Sacramento guy. No doubt about it. He's definitely a Sacramento guy.
All right, thanks, Aramis. What do we got? Bubba G. Coates.
What was y'all go-to ball shoes to hoop in? Jace?
Of all the shoes.
And specifically, too.
Of all the shoes. Because I'm getting a smile on my face because I'm thinking about it. But I remember when Jay came out in 91, he had on the white shirt and the white drawers, and he had the black 6s on. I was like, what are those? Wow. I had to go get me a pair of those. The 3s, the ones that he wore when he won the dunk contest, when he jumped from the free throw line. But the 6s, he just looked more aerodynamic when he put those on. I was like, I gotta get me a pair of those. And I rocked those whenever I got the opportunity. Those, the Fab Five Nikes, and the 13s. Those are my favorites. Of all the ones.
So I'm laughing at.
I know the Chuck Taylors.
You're rocking them Chucks. I shouldn't laugh. We're the same age. I got to tell you, the ones that I actually, it's one thing, the ones I liked the most, but the ones that I actually liked playing in the most because they were like the most comfortable, the most like whatever, was actually the Barclays.
Those were dope.
What it was about the Barclays?
Really?
Yeah, they fit my foot really well. They were so comfortable. They were super light.
Yeah.
Like I remember putting them on, and like coincidentally, that's like the first time that I had like several dunks in a game. I'm like, it's got to be the shoes. I felt like it's got to be.
That's why.
Because I was wearing these heavier shoes before, and they were just, and then like this really undercover ones that I wore, and I don't even remember which Barclays, to be honest. I just know that they were all black. Barclays, they were just, and they're fabulous for me. But I had a pair, and I don't even remember at what point I was playing. It could have been high school, college, pros, men's league. I don't even remember. I had a pair of Rodmans, and they were really weird. Like I don't think he had a lot of shoes, and I'm pretty sure they were Rodmans. They might have been Barclays too, to be honest. But I for whatever reason, I feel like I remember them being Rodmans, and they had like the laces were off centered. They weren't up the middle. They were up the side. And for whatever reason, I guess the way my foot is shaped, being up kind of the side of it felt really, really good. So those two are probably the ones that no one ever talks about. Like I had as many J's as I could, and I wore them all the time. But I mean, like in terms of playing, those are the two that I remember that stood out to me.
Okay, I like it. Good question. All right, what do we got next?
Hold on, OG, I will dunk on you in a game today, and I'm 100 pounds heavier than I was back then. Anytime you want it, brother, come and get it.
Let's go.
Might be a slow motion one. It might be a slow motion one, but it's still going.
All right, we got another.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry. That's my job. My bad.
No, you're good.
Focus, Tone.
I was getting all caught up. I was going to tell you a story about who I dunked on at the University of Kentucky, but we'll save that for next week. Go.
Okay, Sports PSP. Hurts is far better leader than Wentz. He makes up for it with his intangibles, and teammates love him until Jerry leaves. Cowboys ain't winning. Well, that's just a fact in general.
Yeah.
Until Jerry, exactly. Until Jerry leaves, Cowboys.
Yes. Jerry Jones made a deal with the devil. He said, "Can you take this 1-15 team and make it a Super Bowl winner? I'll give you everything." And they said, "Cool." They did it, and now he's cursed until he's gone. There you go.
Well, and I've heard things about like their facility and stuff, and I feel like he like spoils. Obviously, I mean he can, so he spoils the players to like an insane amount. But like, I don't think the guys like. I don't know. I don't know them personally, so I can't speak on like Dak's actual feelings or any CD's feelings. But like, do you think that they really care? Like, are they happy to stay a Cowboy just because it's number one, it's the Cowboys and it's America's team, and also they're kind of spoiled there? Do you think they'll deal with it? You know?
Well, here's the thing, H. The 49ers, they did that. Eddie DeBartolo did that with the 49ers in the 80s. The 49ers were the first team to fly first class, right? Everything, they stay in 5-star hotels. But with all of that being said, he expected not only giving them 5-star treatment, he expected those guys to go out and perform at their best, and they did that. I don't think that that's the case in Dallas. I think that these guys are living more on what used to be, and they just expect it to be. I never thought that I'd see. Yeah. I never thought that I'd see Zeke or say Zeke's name in third down and short yardage running back. That's what he is right now. Yeah, and a red zone running back.
Yeah.
I never thought that he would be that dude, and that's what it's looking like with this Cowboy team. I'm so like if you can imagine, H, the last time the Cowboys was in the NFC Championship game, Biggie and Tupac was still here.
I know, dude. Like it's crazy.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time, and it's going to be a lot more time. But Jerry's not going to go anywhere, right?
No.
To be honest, so.
Nope.
Yeah, could be rough for you Cowboy fans. I'm sorry. All right, Fluent. Can we get the next super chat and see what's good, and then we'll head on to Dame. Can Chris Jones force Burrow to run for his life like Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers? That's what's going to need to happen.
I think so. I do think so. And I look at that Cincinnati offensive line, and they could be had. I mean, don't get me wrong, they spent a lot of money on that offensive line to bolster that offensive line, and they've gotten better. But Chris Jones is one of the better interior linemen in the game. So I think they can be had, no doubt about it. I do.
Yeah, they've been impressive. I think it's more their secondary that's been a little bit what's going to come from that. But yeah, they've done some good work. Fluent, any thoughts on that, or you agree?
No, yeah, that I thought I actually said his name when we were talking about Chris Jones. So yeah, no, I think he is going to be the one that's going to give. Sorry, I was looking for something on my phone and I found it. I don't. Yeah. I want to show something.
He's right. OG said Fluent trying to find that clip of him dunking.
It is. I don't have a game one. I don't have a lot of film. There's like 37 seconds of film back from my day. We had still pictures back then. But no, Chris Jones is going to force Burrow to run for his life. I don't know about run for his life because I think because of their O-line, they've done a lot of things with the running game, with the quick passes to get away from that. So
yeah. All right. We got another super chat. Oh man, this is it.
There we go. There we go. There's bam.
Wait, there that wasn't you?
Yes, it was. The second one was. Absolutely.
Wait, really?
Take that and you pipe and smoke it. You can
that was you?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I've got I told you, I got 30 seconds of clips, baby. They used to have a stone pillar and they used to chisel.
Oh man. All right, next super chat. Let's go.
Yes. Sorry. I'm also very embarrassed about my playing days. I don't show up very often. Tribe called.
I didn't even know you played pro till you just said that. That's crazy to me. In Greece?
For about 15 seconds.
Oh, really?
I was always hurt. I was always hurt. I got hurt my senior year in high school and always even through college. I spent more time in the training room than on the court, unfortunately. A Tribe Called Lynn.
A Tribe Called Lynn. Mahomes versus Bengals is like Manning versus the Chargers in the 2000s. Just always had their number. Is that a fair?
I did almost fall on that dunk, by the way. Yes, I did. do you notice that? Yeah. I was trying too hard.
It's like Manning versus the Chargers. No, I don't know if that's the same
thing. Did Manning? I don't even remember off the top of my head. Did he have trouble getting by him?
Manning versus the Chargers in the 2000s. No, because Peyton Manning did not. Well, number one, Peyton Manning is a much better quarterback. That's number one. Number two,
Peyton Manning's a much better quarterback than Mahomes?
No, not Mahomes.
Because that's what he's saying. Mahomes versus the Bengals.
Mahomes versus the Bengals is like Peyton Manning versus the Chargers.
So I'm assuming the Chargers had their number. So maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of that.
I mean, the Chargers had Drew Brees in the early 2000s. But did they play them as much? Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost on. I don't remember that one.
Glenn, I'll
yes. I gotta go do some research on that.
I'll give that real quick. We'll say yes. We'll say yes.
I gotta go do some research on that.
Eric Dupree. I remember everyone applauding Michael Jordan when he broke the 30,000 points in playing Chicago in a Wizards jersey. Best believe I'm showing that same love 20 years later when LeBron surpasses Kareem.
To be honest with you, though, I'd much rather see him on a team that's better, because it just, like when Jabbar did it in '84, the Lakers were a championship team, right? So they were so much better. When Jordan, first of all, Jordan shouldn't even been in a Wizards uniform, to be quite honest. I mean, if we're going to call it what it really is, he shouldn't even been in a Wizards uniform. So that should have, and the fact that he even quit in the middle of his prime, this would have been done much sooner, and he would have been in a Bulls uniform. And the fact that it just watered it down, because I only remember Jay from, I remember him being in a Wizards uniform, but I just remember him more being with the Bulls, and it would have just been so much better had he been with the Bulls. James in the same token, I think it would have been so much better if James is on a Laker team that's actually winning, as opposed to this garbage team that he's on right now.
They're not that far off.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Lakers? Hey, no, this is delusional. We're not doing this.
No. Hear me out. Anthony Davis is now back, right? They made the trade for Hachimura.
Or Friday.
I was thinking like next
back right now. He is back right now. They aren't that far out of being in like that plan. By the time he breaks it, as I predicted, February 9th, I believe, at home versus the Pelicans, I believe.
That's your prediction?
That's based on what he's averaging. That's when it should be, right? It's I think it's the game before the All-Star break.
Okay.
So I just think that him being a Laker, breaking a Laker greats record, like I'm okay with that. Maybe as a Laker fan, maybe that's why. But I will say this to the super chat from Eric, like 1,000%, we should all stand up and cheer and make. Like the fact that this record has stood for so long, it was actually going to be one of my numbers. But I don't know if you want to. I don't know. You don't want to do any more of those, but I have one more. I'll do it for next week. Now you can look it up. Okay. So, anyways, once he passes it, we should make a big deal of it. They should stop the game. They should celebrate it. Absolutely, absolutely, they should.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be
and that being said, the thing about Jordan. As adults, we know why he came back. Kids won't get it. Kids just won't get it, just to be honest. Jordan bought a piece of the team. The team stunk. The team was 27th in attendance. They weren't making money. The owner said, hey, if I made you a part owner and GM. If you want this to be a money-making situation, you need to do something. Well, what's the one way to fill the seats? Because don't forget, they went from 25th or lower to second. Second. They were first, but for over the 2 years, they were second in attendance.
Mhm.
Well, what did they do? Well, Jordan came back. It was all about money. And then how do you thank him for that? Because I don't know if you guys know this, you can't be a player and an owner. So he had to sell back his ownership stake. He said, "Nah, we good. We good."
He reneged on the deal.
So, it was a purely business decision, and it was a bad one. And I hated seeing Jordan in Washington. I hated seeing Patrick Ewing in Orlando. I hated seeing John Kemp in Orlando.
What was that? Right.
There's just so many, and there's more. I hated seeing Hakeem Olajuwon in Toronto. I hated seeing Tony Parker in, I want to say, Charlotte.
Because it's not the same form that the peak or the form we imagine them in and their best. It's just kind of like that.
Most players, I hated seeing Shaq in Boston, right? There's just everybody just seems to play 1 year too many versus 1 year too soon.
That's so true.
That's why I respect the hell out of Barry Sanders, right? He probably retired a year or two early, but at least
better than a year too late.
Better than a year too late, exactly. Yeah, like Emmitt Smith going to Phoenix to get the all-time rushing record was a joke.
Jaylen Brown missed both of these free throws. Jaylen Brown missed these 2 free throws to ice the game.
Is Tatum? Oh,
he missed these 2 free throws to ice the game.
Is Tatum in?
Yeah, they both in. Jaylen Brown went to the free throw line in overtime.
And just
5
for the
seconds
chat, so you guys know, this is for the chat while you guys talk about the game. We're trying to go through these super chats. We're going to talk about Dame. We're going to talk about the stats, and then because we're going to try and get some of you guys on. Because you guys have been.
Yeah, we have. We're going to probably cut it pretty. Yeah. So we should probably either do that or maybe get on to
we'll go through these quick. We only have a couple left. But
Deco, let's go.
Let's go, Niners. Let's go, Deco. Let's go.
Let's go to Cancun.
Eric, again, thoughts on the All-Star starters and the new format for picking teams. Happy for Kyrie this season.
Tone roasted me when I said Kyrie Irving is starting in the All-Star game. He roasted me for that.
I didn't think he'd get the votes. I didn't think he'd get the votes. I really,
because of the political
because
stuff?
I think because of the political stuff, and I thought that they were like, well, we're putting KD in, right? Let's put those guard votes somewhere else. That's why. But apparently, I was wrong. He got the votes.
Kyrie's really
so good for him. He deserves it. Talent, like as the way he's been playing, he deserves to be there.
Yeah, he's been great.
Which is what I said at the time, by the way. And just in terms of the format, I hate it. I hate they're not even going to pick teams until the day of. All of that is like, can we just go back to East West?
That'd be great.
I don't know.
And not only go back to East West, Tone, how about we actually have it like they did back then, where we have the greatest pickup game in NBA history? Because that's what it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah,
it's not just supposed to be, I'm going to watch you dunk. No, we're going to compete and we're going to fight. We're going to go at it.
Man. Yeah, play some.
Yeah,
we're going to go at it.
No call, ugh.
Now, I will say I do like they did add that thing with the charities and the total scores and that little more. There's a little more intensity at the end there, so it's better, but
not the same.
Not the same. I agree.
Eric, again, appreciate your super chats. News alert: Adam Silver is going to have the Laker games go global too, as LeBron inches closer to all time.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea, because what that's going to do is that's going to raise ratings, and you raise ratings, that's better for business. So get more eyes on it. Sure, he is. Absolutely.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Silver knows.
If you had any doubt, it was always about money. Like, if your head is shake.
Now you know. Mm-hmm. Alex Pickering, thanks for the super chat. Zion is an all-star starter of Sabonis. Over Sabonis is a crime. We did actually talk about that, and you're right, but it's the all-star game, so people want to see entertaining plays, not necessarily a fundamental player like Sabonis. But we love Sabonis. I love Sabonis. He's been so consistent. You don't like Sabonis?
I was a big fan.
I dig
Sabonis. Arvydas Sabonis was.
Papa.
I think the problem we having with the All-Star game is that you guys get wrapped up in a guy being a better player as opposed to a guy being what the fans want to see.
Yeah.
And Sabonis, unfortunately, is not more exciting than Zion is. Zion's game is fit more for the All-Star game.
Oh yeah. We don't want to see Sabonis, or I think Looney was voted second team All-Star. And I was like, nobody wants. I love Looney, so I'm just gonna say that. But nobody wants to see Looney in the All-Star game. All right, it's just Pax, Chill, and Fluent. What's y'all's top 20 players of all time based on talent and skill?
I don't do that. I don't do that, my man.
Yeah.
I do not do it based on talent and skills. No accolades. No. And this kind of logic right here, Tone, if you know how this gets my blood pressure up, you already know it. Because essentially what you're saying is take everything that I've ever done off the table, right? Take all my MVPs off the table. Take all my finals MVPs off the table. Take all my all-star games off the take all my all-NBA. Who's just the best player? Get that out of here. I ain't doing that. The reason why I'm an all-NBA performer is because of what I produce. The reason why I'm the league MVP is because of what I produced. The reason why I was the finals MVP is because of what I produced. How you going to take all of that off the table? And I don't care about the fact that you're more skilled and you're more talented, because I've seen more talented and more skilled players get outplayed. Stop asking me that. I'm tired of it. Production matters.
It's just Pack. I'll make a list for you. I just don't have it handy. But the last one and the most important chat of the day.
Yes. Oh, wow.
And yes, 100% it was.
You think ice cream was better back in the days?
Because it's home. Did your moms have the little homemade ice cream?
No, God, no. But there's less like chemicals and preservatives and ice cream was better back in the day. Absolutely.
Have you
just
had
like
Italian ice?
Italian what?
Ice. It's like Italian ice cream.
You never had Italian? Oh, that's right. In Canada, y'all.
Oh, you Canadian.
Italian ice.
Come on.
Yeah, you don't know about
Italian
icy tone? Oh, that's right.
What?
Italian
It's
ice?
fire. It's good. Yeah.
You don't know
I
about
think,
icy tone?
I think you're calling it the wrong thing, and for whatever reason, I just can't remember what it's actually called.
I don't remember. I thought that's what it's called.
No, that's exactly what it's called. You're not wrong.
No, it's not called Italian ice, dude. It's called no, it's not.
Oh no, there's another word, and I know it's called something.
We call it icy in Jersey.
No, it's called. There is another name for it, not Spumoni.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Gelato.
Yeah. Yes, gelato.
But
gelato.
It's called, that's like the American
What are you gonna
word
say?
Italian ice is what it's called.
Listen, man. In Italy, where I lived, and a huge Italian population here in Toronto, we eat gelato like it's going out of style. Get the hell out of here, Italian ice.
Oh no, we're getting into the Canadian America. Tim Hortons.
You know what's the most? I'm gonna leave it at this, and then I'll let you go to whatever topic you want to go to. Do you know what's the most diverse city in the world?
Toronto.
So we know I got food from every country all over the place. On any corner, I can go get anything I want. I can get Jamaican, Thai, any type of Italian, Greek, Chinese, Japanese, anything. It's everywhere. Yep. Thank you. Okay.
Lori in marketing needs to be
now you're more fluent.
Now you know.
Well, Lori does deserve credit, but again, do we want? I don't know. What do you guys think?
What was that with Lori marketing?
Does he be an all-star?
Yes, absolutely, he does.
He does deserve to be an all-star. He does.
Mm-hmm. He deserves it. I just
absolutely
know if he'll be voted in.
No, he will be.
We got Mexican, we got Middle Eastern. Hell, absolutely. Ethiopian.
And remember too, H. You know where the All-Star game is this year?
Where?
It's in Salt Lake City.
It's in Utah.
Oh, I saw that.
The least diverse place in the world.
Yeah. Square City. Opinion on what Murray said about the Spurs and TP.
What was that? I missed that. I'm sorry.
Opinion on what Murray said on the Spurs?
What did he say?
What are we missing?
Oh, DeJounte Murray.
What did he say?
Where was that?
Oh.
Are you just making stuff up? What's going on?
It was just on the screen.
No, it wasn't.
Man, I might be losing.
Oh, opinion. Oh, you're absolutely right. It was. My bad. Opinion
on what
Murray said about the Spurs. That he left, and that's why. Who else? Someone else. That's why Tony Parker didn't end his career there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he talked about how, and he also talked about how selfish Tony Parker was. Steven Jackson talked about how selfish Tony Parker was. Listen, man, when you're at the end of your run somewhere, it's difficult to let it go. And you would think that a guy like Tony Parker, who has a guy like Murray coming in behind him, because Tony Parker had been there for 13, 14 years to show him the ropes. No, he wasn't ready to hand it over. Not only was he not ready to hand it over, he was doing stuff that was detrimental to DeJounte Murray. And it just shows the selfishness of not just the selfishness of Tony Parker, but of athletes that are not ready to let go of what they used to be and usher in somebody else. Because when you at that level, Tone, there's a reason why you are there. Somebody showed you how to get there, right? So if somebody's going to show you how to get there, that's your job later on to do the same thing for the person behind you, as opposed to just letting him figure it out on his own. That's why I can't get with guys like Brett Favre, Tony Paul. I can't get with those guys. I can't.
Yeah.
Royalty TV, you can get some real soul food. You crazy if you don't think that's true. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, let's jump into.
I gotta go upstairs and get some food. You guys keep going.
I know I'm hungry now too.
We done started tone. We done got him started.
All right, real quick. Let's touch on Dame. Dame dropped 60 points last night against Utah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it was Utah. Now that we're speaking about
did.
it, so and let me tell you, I didn't get to watch the games because I was too busy watching the Warriors smack the Grizzlies. But it was interesting seeing that, like, they were dropping dime after dime after dime. Like the Utah was not slowing down, but Dame absolutely. I think what did he have? 30 by halftime, 33 by halftime. So it was
50 at the end of the third.
Yep, you're right. He scored those 10 in the last, and then he missed a few at the end of the game. But I mean, we've already talked about how, like, we're getting so spoiled by these high scoring games. But like, Jay, just wearing your Dame jersey, what does this mean specifically for Dame? Like, we do talk about him, and I'm not trying to pity him because Dame is that guy. Like, he is him. Unfortunately, he's just in an extremely small market who will probably never win a championship ring anytime soon. So, I mean, what did you think of that performance and what he's been doing?
It just is something that adds to who he is in terms of how great he is. So when I think about a guy like Dame, I think about his time in the league and how awesome he's been since he's been in the league. We kind of forgot how good he was last season because he got hurt and he was out. And before the season started, I had him playing his way back into the top 10. And I feel like he's doing that. The first, I think, 22, 23 games of the season, he missed half of those games. Since he's been back in the lineup, right? Since he's been back in the lineup, he's 33-8. Now, the problem that Portland has is Portland is not a very good defensive team. And Utah exposed that a long time ago. So Dame's game gets overshadowed by the fact that they're not a very good team defensively, and his production gets overshadowed. But Dame has always been an elite guard. I'm not saying that he's always been a good guard. He's always been an elite guard. This is a guy who he's had 3 60-point games in a season. Chamberlain is the only other guy who can say he did that. Nobody else can say that they did that. Bryant, KD, who's never even had a 60-point game. All the great scorers. Elgin Baird, line them all up. Dame had 3 60-point games in a season. He's been in the league 11 seasons. In 11 years he's been in the league, he's been all NBA 6 of those 11 years. That's every other year I'm an all-pro. And you guys know how I feel about being an all-pro. I take that very, very seriously. So the dude made he was an all-pro third team one time. So 5 of those 11 years, he's been first or second team. That means that at minimum, I'm a top 5 guard every other year. So because of that, we don't talk nearly as much about Dame. Why? Because of his counterpart in Steph Curry, who I don't think Dame is better than. But when I think about the other guards and I think about the other players that he's had to go up against, Dame has held his own, and I don't think it's even been a question. I watched him roast Russell Westbrook. Not once. He put 50 on Russ twice. Dominated him in the playoffs in 2019, right? Just completely dominated him. Put 60 on Kyrie Irving. Completely dominated him too. So when I think about how good Damian Lillard is, and I've seen Damian Lillard play in person, not once, not twice, 3 times I've seen him play in person. Damian Lillard is absolutely awesome. I'm really loving this. And I thought that this season was the season that he would play himself back into the top 10. And I think he's getting close to that. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen Dame play since I was little. Like, he was probably one of the first basketball players, like, professional basketball players.
Yes.
That.
Absolutely.
I got to watch his whole career, like, since I was, like, old enough to know what was going on, So, Dame, I got a lot of love for him. And it does hurt to see, what's been going on there. But it is interesting, Jay, that you mentioned, like, Steph, because he's in this era with Steph Curry, who's, like, he's the best shooter ever and one of the best guards ever. So, yeah, I mean, imagine if they had switched positions, like what it would be such a different story, I think, for Dame. Like Dame has the potential to win multiple rings. Of course, he would have to be with a different unit. But yeah.
I think that's where it's a little bit different though, H. And I'm sorry to cut you off, Tone, but I think that's where it's a little bit different, where we differ. I really hate to make those comparisons.
Yeah.
You know, if you took Dame off of this team and you put Steph on this team, I think Steph is the better player. And I don't think it's a question. I do think Steph is the better player. Definitely. He has outplayed him. And if you put Dame on that Golden State team, I think it's a little bit different because Dame is more of a one-on-one player. Steph is not that much of a one-on-one player. That offense is more conducive to Steph's game. A lot of ball movement, a lot of action off the basketball, right? So that's more conducive to Steph's game as opposed to Dame, who's more ball dominant, who's more of a one-on-one player, who's more of a scorer in that aspect, as opposed to Steph, who is more, like I said, not just ball dominant, but that offense is more conducive to his game. But when I think about Steph Curry and when I think about Damian Lillard and I think about what he has done over the course of his career, him being an elite guard, when I hear people telling me, well, he shouldn't have been a top 75 player, he shouldn't have been ahead of Kyrie Irving. Absolutely, he should have been. No doubt about that.
Yeah, 100%.
He shouldn't have been a top 75 player. They shouldn't have put any active players in the top 75.
Here we go.
But here's the thing, Dame. Is Dame just getting his and losing?
Well, I don't know.
They're the 12th seed. Maybe we should have put his picture instead of LeBron's. I didn't do that, by the way, for everybody blaming it was LeBron.
They just dropped out. They just dropped out of the playoff. They just dropped out of the playoff race.
They're a below 500 team.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wonder. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm not putting any hate on Dame. I love Damian Lillard. He is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I wish he wouldn't be so stubborn and let them trade him to a team where he's going to have an opportunity to win, because I feel like there's guys that I don't like and I don't care if they win or lose. Yeah. And then there's guys like Dame that I really do like, and he's super talented and he is a phenomenal player. And I want to see him win because I know, and you know, what happens to players, no matter how great they are, if they don't win a ring, win a ring at the end of their career, how we talk about them.
Like Barkley, like Ewing, like guys like that.
Okay, yeah, like Barkley, like Malone.
They're not a part of the conversation.
They couldn't get it done.
Like Drexler, like, all these guys repeatedly, like there's tons of them that they just don't win a ring. And then we'll put guys who are in a situation and won a ring, and we'll put them over them. And it's ridiculous to do that. And it drives me nuts. And Dame is, hey, you know what? We talk about loyalty and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, Portland's not going to put you in a situation to win a title. I'm sorry. They're just not. So they're not. You're laughing, but because you know it's true, right?
No,
well,
I thought they had.
Look, like let's just move on. Yes, Big Ox. Yes, Dame to Toronto, 1,000 million gazillion.
Anywhere, just get him out of there.
2019,
Toronto's 1 star. Oh yeah, Drexler did win a ring. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
2019 was the year that it was time to retool, because that was as good as it was going to get for that Trailblazer team when they lost to the Warriors in the West Final.
Oh, that was it. That was the peak of this era.
That was it. That was as good as it was going to get.
So here's the thing, right? So now you've got a player like Dame who he's putting up his numbers, he's putting up his points. Sorry, I'm trying to also deal with, I'm moderating the chat. We've got some crazy shit going on in there. And it's unbelievable, right? Like that we're going to look back. I'm telling you right now, he is going to get taken out of that top 70. Like when they do the top 100, he's not going to be in it. He's not going to be in it. No, because if he stays in Portland and doesn't win a ring, I'm telling you, they're going to put a bunch of guys over him. And I think it's wrong what's going to happen. But I think that is what's going to happen. And I hate it. And I hate it because he's so good. And people, I guarantee you, people are going to look back, right? Like, let's say the season ended today. They're going to say, yeah, he got 60. So what? His team didn't make the playoffs. He was just stat padding. He was just putting up numbers, but he was losing. And that is part of our topic for the day, is that is always going to be the narrative when people don't win and put up numbers. They're, whether they say it out loud and admit it, or in the back rooms where they want people, they're gonna be like, was he really that good? Was he really that good? Like, yeah, he averaged 30 points a game, but his team went 35 and 47. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So what? It didn't equate to winning. It didn't equate to. And look, there is some truth to it too.
But the thing, Tone, is he is probably the main reason why they are competitive in the West. I mean, they were just maybe 2 weeks ago, they were in the playoff picture, and you know how the Western Conference is bunched up. Where I think as of right now, from like 6 to 12 is only separated by like 2.5 games. So you can go from in a week to being out the play-in to being in a lottery. You can very well just do that. So when I think about the Trailblazers and what they've done and what they've built around Dame is the reason why they are at minimum competitive. He had to go for 60 last night in order for them to win, Tone. They got 60 out of him in order for them to win. So if he's doing that, and a guy who, like I said, who's 33-8 over the last 25 games, the reason why they are competitive is because of him. I'm
saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with that sentiment. I'm telling you the way that people are going to look back at it. They're going to look back at it, and that's what I'm saying.
And that's true. We know that for a fact. Look at all the players I might not even know the name of, but we're good, and you try to highlight, like Dominique Wilkins. It's like I try to highlight him all the time, but he's not a regular. Yeah, that's another one. Like there's so many. So
Dominique, George Gervin. There's a lot of guys who scored, and I'm using them as examples because he put up 60. A lot of guys who scored that just they didn't win.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I don't want the narrative to change so much that we don't even applaud people for winning, because that does matter, right? It does matter. But I think we're going down this dangerous road of where's the line? Like if it's a player you like, you're going to say, man, Dame, like you said, Dame had to go for 60 for them to win. If it's a player you don't like, man, Dame's so greedy. He went for 60. Like he could have had that win so much easier if he would have played better team ball.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what. But that's
the goofy logic that I'm going to have to listen to. It is goofy.
I agree.
That's the goofy logic that I'm going to have to listen to. Sure. Yeah. I can dig it. I can definitely dig it.
So what? Dame did he sign it in last offseason, his max contract? So he has 4 more years.
So he just re-upped. I think that contract 32.
32. So he'll be 36 coming off that contract. So I mean, yeah. And if that's the case, if he's 36, he's not going anywhere. He's going to retire in Portland.
I don't think so.
He has.
When he's 36.
When he's 36. 4 years when his contract expires. But we talked about this before. Like, he has generational wealth. Like, the amount that man is getting paid, like, is enough to provide for his family. He was good.
Kids. Yeah, he was
good. Yeah, he's been good. But now after that, it just depends on, I think he truly values his family. He values his loyalty, and he has his rap career and all that. So I think he enjoys being here. But that forever is going to, be in his heart. Charles Barkley has talked about that. That's something that he's just going to have. It's tough. I can't imagine knowing you could have attained this thing and then not even trying. So, yeah. Stuff. But anyways, so Fluent introduced the topic, our main topic.
We
touched on it already, getting yours and losing. So Jay brought up, actually I want to go to Jay's topic first. If you have a bad shooting game, if you have a bad shooting game, is it a bad shooting night? Is it a bad game? And I think all of these things go together. So the Dame time, the getting yours and losing, and if you have a bad shooting night, is it a bad game? I'd like to put them all together because a lot of the narratives are LeBron on a bad Lakers team. Actually, man, it's a talented but bad in terms of they're not winning games. On a bad Lakers team, just trying to chase Kareem's record. You got guys scoring ridiculous amounts of points. Doesn't even matter if they win or lose. They're just going out and scoring ridiculous amounts of points. And then if they do have a bad shooting game, is it a bad game? Or does it depend if they win or they lose?
I just think that
kind of tied together, no?
Well, the thing that I think about, what I've been thinking about is the player more than anything, because there are players who do one thing, and then there are players who do a multitude of things. So, for example, Kevin Durant. There's a reason why Kevin Durant and Draymond Green got into it during that Clipper game. Kevin Durant, when Draymond Green is dribbling up the floor at the end of the game, he's slapping his hands going, give me the ball. What he's basically saying is, Draymond, dirty work, diving on the floor, rebounding, loose balls, that's you. Buckets, that's me. I'm the guy for that.
And he's right.
And he's absolutely right. That's my job. So with saying that, if Kevin Durant goes 6 for 25, I don't think that's the same. I don't think that has the same effect as if James goes 6 for 25, because James does a whole bunch of other things, and he's going to do a bunch of other things to keep his team in the game or help his team win the game. Kevin Durant isn't nearly as effective doing those other things if he's having a bad shooting night, as opposed to if Bryant is having a bad shooting night. The prime example would be the example that I brought up that time when you and I were talking to him was in the NBA Finals in 2010. He's having a bad shooting night, and he recognized, we are not going to win if I keep doing this. So I got to go do something else. So he goes and he sticks his nose in there and he pulls down 15 rebounds. That's the difference between a guy who's a great player and does a bunch of things and a guy who's a great player and only does one thing. So if you got a guy like Kevin Durant or a guy like James Harden who does a bunch of different things, and a guy like Kevin Durant or just a scorer like George Gervin, if he has a bad shooting night, he probably had a bad game, as opposed to a guy who had a bad shooting night but did a whole bunch of other things in order for his team to win. I just think the two things are different because we're talking about different players. I think the player matters.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many intangibles. I mean, we use that word kind of carelessly, but like you can't compare with Draymond. Like scoring is a whole different thing, and playmaking is a whole different. There's various skill sets, and some of them you can't really measure. So
right.
And Draymond is one of those players. Some people absolutely think he's overrated and gets far too much credit. But I think if you watch Draymond day in and day out, and maybe not necessarily right now, but I mean, even right now, there's so many things that he does versus like looking at Steph and saying, wow, Steph scored 35, 8 and 5 or something, that looks great on a sheet, but I don't know. There's just I agree with you. You can't compare players based off just scoring stats or even just what you can see alone. Like you have to really get a feel for their game and know what they do. And some of that's even, just the intangibles.
I just have to, I just understand the difference in how a guy affects a game if he has a bad shooting game, as opposed to a guy who does a whole bunch of other things. And this is all he does. This guy, this is all he does is score. And then this guy over here, he affects the game in a whole bunch of other different ways, and he doesn't score nearly as much. He might have a 3 for 12 game. Scottie Pippen might have a 3 for 12 game and have a phenomenal game because he disrupted the defense, his ability to distribute. He got on the backboard. He was able to control the offense in a number of different ways, as opposed to a scorer, a guy who's just straight buckets, or a guy who's a rebounder like Dennis Rodman, who averages 15 boards, he had like 6 rebounds in the game and he fouled out. Well, Dennis had a bad game because Dennis didn't really do much else. What else does Dennis do? So I think
I'm so torn. I'm so torn because it's so dependent on. There's too many variables for me because the player matters. When he does it matters. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the regular season, the playoffs, what quarter he does it in, like what their responsibility is for the team. So, for example, in 98 in the finals, Jordan scores 50% of the Bulls' points in that closeout game. Why? Well, because they said, Dennis, rebound and play defense. Mm-hmm. Pip, bring up the ball, facilitate the offense. Kook, shoot the shot, drive, slash to the bucket a couple times. Kerr, shoot some threes. Like everybody had their roles. Harp, be that backup guy, play some defense.
Right.
But Jordan, we need you to score, right?
Yeah.
Play some defense and score. That's what we need you to do. If he goes in that game 5 of 30, they lose because the way that the team was constructed at that point was you're going to score, we're going to do everything else. Let's go do it.
Right.
So if he goes 5 of 30, they lose. And yes, you've had a horrible. I don't care if he got 27 rebounds. It wouldn't matter because if he doesn't score, that team loses.
Right.
There are other situations where more balanced. Like if Steph has a bad shooting night sometimes, it's okay because what he's going to end up doing is, hey, maybe become more of a facilitator. Clay's hot. Okay, I'm gonna put it out to Clay and let him. I'm talking back now a few years, obviously, when Clay was Clay, right? I'm gonna let Clay go for his 50. And so I'm having a bad shooting night. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
If you brought up James. James has a bad shooting night, but it's 1 second left on the clock. They're down by 2 and he hits a 3. All of a sudden, the bad shooting night doesn't matter. Or he has a bad shooting night and then he misses 2 free throws at the end of the game and they lose. Well, now it's a bad game. So that's why I say there's so many different variables that I don't know how to answer that question because you're right. You got to look at the totality of the game and situation. Listen, did you have a good game if you scored 60 points? Not if you went 0 for 7 in the fourth quarter and lost. I'd say that was a bad game. I don't care that you scored 60 in the first 3 quarters.
But I think that 60 shows the effort that you put forth, right?
I don't care. I care about winning.
The lack of effort you put forth in other areas that could have helped your teammates for sure too.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you. Let me ask the guy who played.
Yeah.
You score 60 in the first 3 quarters, 0 for 7 in the fourth, and you lose, or would you rather 25 points? You drop 15 of those are in the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter, and you win.
I had a good shooting game. But if that's all I did,
which one would you rather have?
I'd definitely rather have 25 and 15 in the fourth, and then we end up winning. I would rather.
But doesn't that like you're putting that like? Of course you're gonna pick that, but doesn't it matter also what your teammates are doing and what needs to be done? Like,
right.
So that's
my point.
Time by
so
time.
Many variables that
of
those things
and what else I'm doing too. It's not just all right. If I'm just buckets, is that all I'm doing? Am I affecting the game in other ways? If I scored 25, what else did I do? Did I only get us buckets? And if I scored 25, that means that somebody else did some other stuff too. It wasn't just me.
Yeah.
And that's my point is that, because again, if we look back at Jay's 2 games and you go, oh, on Wednesday, he went for 60. He did all he can do, but they lost. And then in the next game on Friday, oh, he put up 25 and they won. Oh, his team must have played really well. Well, no, it's actually the opposite. He probably played better in that 25-point game than that 60-point game. So that's why I say you have to look at all of those situations. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because people look at the 60-point game and be like, damn, he dropped 60? Nice. Bad game. So that's where I'm why I struggle with this, is like there are times when I feel not everybody, and listen, they put the picture of Braun because listen, and just so you guys know, just this is for the chat specifically. I'll look into the camera just so you know. The reason there's a picture of James, which if you go back and look at our stuff, it's not always a picture of James, is we had the vice president of, I believe, ESPN Analytics on this show a few weeks back, and they do research. And he's been kind enough to send me, like, here's the top 10 things that people are looking for online.
Mm-hmm.
It's James, right? He's at the list almost every single week. We can't do it every week. But that's why just
so you guys know, I don't know if you guys know this, but the reason why we're on here is because of you guys. We're not on here to talk about what we think is cool. We talk about what you want to talk about.
Trust me, we'd be talking about Christian Coloco,
right?
My favorite center from the Raptors. If it was what I want to talk about.
We talk about what you want to talk about. Yeah. We talk about what moves the needle. You want to talk about James. You want to talk about Jordan. You want to talk about Jason Tatum. You want to talk about Luka. You want to talk about great teams. You want to talk about that. So that's why we bring it up. It's not because we thinking that, there's a reason why we're not talking about the Orlando Magic. You know why? Because the majority of you guys don't want to talk about the Orlando Magic. There's a reason why we're not talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves, because the majority of you guys don't care about the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's why we're not. There's a reason why we're talking about Jordan and about James, because the majority of you guys, that's what you care about. So
I love me some Coloco, brother. Yeah, Delano Banton from Etobicoke, baby.
It is crazy though, because like sometimes I know, like especially because we do like our content creating, and we always have new people in the chat, and we appreciate y'all who are new every week, but like sometimes the same like conversation over every day. People ask me the exact same thing, and it's just like the same. What's your top 5? What's your top 10? This is better than this, and it's sometimes it's the same people who just want to hear themselves say the same thing over and over again. We love it. We love it.
Funny? Do you want to hear something funny?
Yes, I do.
I had someone from my marketing department. I said, "Hey, can you look at my TikTok and just kind of break down the topics that I talk about, because I do obviously football, basketball, I do crazy stuff, I do music, I do conspiracies. Like I try to, even though TikTok wants me to only do basketball, I try to do everything." And I said, this person said, all I do is talk about the GOAT debate. I go, can you look through 7.84% of my content is the GOAT debate. And I'm like, really? I thought it was more. I quoted 10, and they're like, nope, 7.84. I'm like, oh, because people tell me that's all I talk about. And they're like, yeah, actually, you should probably talk. And then you know what they said? You should actually probably do it a little bit more. So this week I've been killing it. I've been
nice. Yeah, I've seen some.
I've been doing more.
Yeah, and like if you post anything about the GOAT debate, anything, it always does well, because people argue that till the cows run home.
You know what? When you post something and you get 400 views, and then you post something there and it gets 500,000. Yeah, I'm gonna do more than 500,000, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to do super chats and then invite everybody on and see what they got to say?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, let's keep it to 2 or 3 tonight, because let's keep it to 2 or 3.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the link in the chat. You guys come on for like it's gonna be like a radio show. So you're gonna make Dame time. You make your point. I'm gonna let you. You're gonna ask your question or make your point, and then we'll either kick you out or let you hear the rebuttal.
See what we think.
And while you guys come on, we're gonna go through our super chat. So let me first share this link in the chat. Here we go, and send. All right, here we go. I'll just go through them. You just read them. We'll go through them.
Okay. Leaf Diggy, East versus West. I'm with you, Flu. Blame LeBum for going to Adam Silver's slipper with this new trash. Couldn't go to David Stern. Stern is about tradition.
Okay, blame LeBron. I'm with it.
Don't do Utah. It's some good thing. It's some good things there. Well, because we were talking about Utah's like Square City, but
I went to college in Utah, so I used to live in Utah.
Yeah. Jay actually.
I'm familiar.
Okay, so Jay, is there
the scenery in Utah is incredible. I just want you guys. The scenery in Utah is ridiculous, no doubt about that.
Okay, Tribe Called Len, thank you again for your super chat. Random throwback music question for y'all OGs. Rank these 90s groups: Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, and Outkast.
Oh,
I just did this, so I'll go first because I have it top of mind. So Tribe Called Quest is my favorite rap group of all time. So whether they're the best or not, they're ranked 1.
Yeah, haven't you mentioned them before?
Yeah, all the time.
A lot of times.
I love Tribe. So Tribe is 1 for me. And this is no disrespect, because I love all 3 of these and still listen to all of them a lot today. But Tribe is 1. Andre 3000 I have as my 5th when I do my top 5 rappers of all time. I've got Andre at 5. So I got Outkast at number 2 for me. And then Wu-Tang at 3, but like I said, you could call them 1, A, B, and C. Like I said, I listen to them all the time. Yes.
Well, you guys know how I feel about talent and production. Am I clear? Are we clear on that? Because again, Wu only gave me 2 albums in the 90s. That's it. Meanwhile, Tribe gave me 5 bangers in the 90s. All 5 of the albums was
the greatest album of all time.
Yes, all 5 of the albums was dope. So I think Tribe is at the top of that. Outkast was just becoming hot in the 90s. They didn't become that group until like the late 90s and then into the 2000s. Yeah. So I think Tribe is on the end of that, but I think Outkast is on the end of that, but I think it's Tribe. I think it's in that order. Tribe, Wu-Tang, Outkast.
Yeah. We'll bring on, we got to bring on, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call up Source of Course and I'm gonna bring him on, and we'll do a hip hop.
Oh, that'll be so dope if we
could
get Sauce on for a couple of minutes. Yeah, I'm definitely down to do that.
We'll get him to DJ and talk. We'll give him our favorite tracks and let him. We'll have a conversation. Yeah, I love that idea.
All
right. Leaf Boogie again.
Fluent Chill Sound, February 3rd, Abdul Rauf Doc.
Yes,
I cannot wait.
Yes, that's supposed to be dope.
Yeah,
and also
I've seen that some of the it looks good.
And not only
reaching out to him on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie. I've been recently like, dude, come on the show, dude. Come on the show, dude. Reach out to his agent. Reach out to his foundation.
And not only that, Netflix got a Bill Russell doc coming out. I think the 8th. It's gonna be super dope too. Yes,
so
I was just telling my son today. I was like, listen, you need to learn about these two guys. They were like Curry before Curry, and I was like, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. I said, who didn't get the opportunity because of his religion, and Drazen Petrovic, who unfortunately tragic car accident. I go, those two guys, I go watch them because I told you he does all the NBA classics and the YouTube and stuff. I go watch those dudes. All right.
Bobby, Dame to Toronto,
Yes, absolutely. Take anybody you want.
Bring Dame. But
if you could keep Siakam up, if you could keep Siakam up there, I love Dame.
Take anybody else. I'll take Dame.
That could be fired.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Draco crazy. Ironic how Dame has that commercial early in his career being about being one of the guys to be great and finished without a ring.
With Malone and Barry Sanders and Webber.
The script.
It don't lie.
Well scripted.
Black Uru strikes. Can Dame be the lead player on a championship team?
Well, we know he can be the lead player on a contender. We don't know that he can be a leader on a championship team because he never got there. So we don't know that he can do that. But we do know that he could be a leader on a contender because he got to the West Finals. That did.
I will say,
I think if he was in Toronto, where he would by far be the best player, and Siakam would be the maybe lead scorer, like the number one option. And then everybody else played defense. Yes, I think like a team like that. I'm using them as the example because obviously I know them very well.
Yeah.
That's a team where I think he could be, or he'd have to be the number 2 somewhere. Double P just wanted to say, throw some luck. What up?
Thanks, Dub. We appreciate you, brother.
But hopefully it's an American because in Canada it's a loony and it hurts when they throw it at you.
Oh no. There's some thank you again. Rank these 6 guys all-time best to worst. Carmelo Anthony, Dame, Kyrie, Reggie Miller, Mully, and Vince Carter.
Let's see here. So I'm going to start with Carmelo Anthony and Damian Lillard at the top of the list.
Okay.
Because they both threw teams on their back, and they at least got them to the Western Conference Finals as the number 1 guy. Kyrie Irving won the NBA championship, but his best years were with James. Those are his best years. Reggie Miller also got his team to the NBA Finals. So I think what we're doing here is what Double P is trying to do is he's trying to make these guys as players, right? So Reggie Miller, Kyrie Irving is a more talented player than Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller took his team to the NBA Finals, and he was just as good in terms of him being a shooter. I think Reggie Miller is ahead of Kyrie Irving. Damian Lillard and Carmelo Anthony are ahead also. I think Kyrie Irving is ahead of Chris Mullin and Vince Carter. So it's Carmelo Anthony, Damian Lillard, Reggie Miller, Kyrie Irving, Chris Mullin, Vince Carter.
You got Vince Carter last on that list?
Yes.
Wow.
Vince Carter, Chris Mullin. Flip those 2 around.
You're putting Mully last? Damn. Yeah, he's probably accomplished the least.
We're talking about okay, rank these players. Rank them. So if I were to rank these players, I would rank them. Wow. I would go. I'm not a Carmelo fan. He's too one-dimensional for me. I would go Dame, Vince, Carmelo, Kyrie, Reggie, Chris.
All right.
So listen, we thank you guys. Love you guys. We got a bunch more super chats. So I'm going to do one more. Then we're going to go to the guys waiting, and we'll we'll bounce back and forth between people waiting to come on and the rest of these super chats. We'll do just one more.
What do y'all think of D'Lo to the Clippers?
I think he gives them another wing scorer, but I don't think that he moves the needle and pushes them over the top. They don't. I don't. That team is built around Leonard and Paul George.
D'Lo, it depends for who. I'm assuming it's not going to be for George or for Kawhi.
No.
So yeah, the more talent you can get on the team, I guess the better. I just don't think. I don't think. Yeah, to your point, I don't think it moves the needle enough. I also, as you know, think the San Diego Paperclips, doesn't matter who they bring in, they could bring in Jesus and they're going to lose. So, here we go. So that
I don't know why people are getting so hyped up about them. Like, what do people expect?
Well, because on paper, remember they're the paper champs. All right. Here we go. So we're going to bring in our first. Emmanuel is our first. So let's bring him in.
What's up, man? How you
doing? What up, everyone, man? I just had a question. Y'all saw the All-Stars coming out. Who's y'all biggest All-Star snub? Who y'all think is going to miss out on the game?
All-Star snub?
Yeah.
Well, the starting five in the East, that's who I actually picked before the season, before we had that. And in the West, I had Anthony Davis over Zion. So that was the only difference.
Yeah.
Who's not on?
Fox didn't make it, right?
Well, we don't know who. This is the starting five. We haven't picked the reserves yet, right? We haven't picked the reserves yet. This is just the starting five.
Okay.
I'll tell you this: I think my guy who I picked to be a first-time All-Star won't make it because of his injury. So I think OG Anunoby is not going to make it, which is too bad because he's having a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
But I guess we have to wait for the bench guys. Who do you know have them off? I know you have a good memory. Who's the starters East West?
So the starters in the East are Irv and Mitchell, and in the front court is KD, Tatum, and Giannis. And in the West it's Luka and Curry, and in the front court it's James, Zion, and Joker.
All right, so I would say Embiid would be the absolute
snub
joke that he's not a starter. He's been second place in the MVP voting 2 years in a row. If you look at where they are today, he's second in MVP voting and behind Jokic. And the fact that he's not an all-star starter shows you that the all-star system is broken. That's ridiculous that he's not a starter.
Who are you swapping out, KD? Or
no, who is it? KD, Tatum, and
Giannis. You can't take out Giannis or Tatum, right?
Yeah, you can. I would say maybe KD because of games played.
Well, Giannis has been injured,
and Giannis has been injured too. So it's because it's forwards now, so there's no center position.
Right.
So I would say whoever's third of those three in terms of for the forwards, you bring take that person out.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
No doubt.
I want to make sure I know how to do this. So I don't do. I feel like I'm gonna end the thread or something. All right. Next up is your GOAT.
Yo, what's good, guys? Hope you guys have been having a good day so far.
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I'm fantastic. My team beat the Nets, so I'm pretty happy right now. So,
congrats.
Thank you. So my question is, which is the most disappointing team so far in your opinion, and if you think they can come back after the All-Star game?
Minnesota. I had Minnesota as a top 5 seed in the West, and they have not been
crazy high on them.
The interesting thing is, I think they're a game and a half out the 5 spot, and they haven't gotten Cat back yet. And Anthony Edwards has been playing great, so I think that they can make some ground. But it's going to be interesting to see how they make this up.
Actually, they're a game and a half out of 4th. They're a game out of 5th.
Right, a game out the 5 spot. Yeah. Which is where I had them at.
Yeah.
Man, I want to answer and say Toronto again because
Tone. Tone. This is easy, Tone.
I'll pick someone else.
This is easy, Tone.
No, I don't want to pick Toronto or the Lakers. I want to pick somebody else.
Who else is it, Tone? Who else is it, Tone?
You have to be honest, one. Now is your time.
I think it's Toronto and the Lakers. I think both of those
there you go.
Extremely underachieved, and I think both of them are way too talented to be out of the playoffs. If you look, you know what's crazy? Talk to any coach. Let me start with the Raptors. Talk to any coach, any analyst, any player, and they will tell you this: I don't want to face Toronto in the playoffs. because they have so many. Their whole vision 6'9". They have so many players that are 6'8", 6'9", with like 7-foot wingspans that can defend, that can get after you. They play. They say this. I don't agree, but they play a little bit dirty, and you don't want to play them because if they ever knock down shots with that defense, they can surprise any team.
What defense are they even ranked though?
Toronto right now.
Yeah. Do you know?
Defensive rating, they're ranked 16th.
Yeah, so they're an average defensive team.
That was quick.
But that's also because a lot of their players have been in and out of the lineup with injuries.
Right. Yeah.
So they're way too talented. If you look at the Lakers, although it's top heavy, and again, because of injuries, you have freaking LeBron James. He is the best basketball player for the last 20 years. He's been the best 17 out of those 20. And Russell Westbrook, who has been great. Anthony Davis, who's a top 10 player or top 5 player when healthy. Like, you have so much talent on that team to not be in the playoffs. Playoffs? Like, that's
garbage.
That's
garbage, H. Garbage.
The sad part is, I don't think they can. Either one is going to turn it around.
No.
I'll tell you what, though, Tone. You got Anthony Davis back, and not only do you have Anthony Davis back, you got a stretch coming up where you can make up some ground. You're going on the East Coast road trip. You got Boston. I think you got the Knicks. You got the Nets. You got New Orleans. I think you got a stretch where you can make some games up. You got Anthony Davis coming back. You got Rui in the lineup. You can make some games up here.
Toronto, unfortunately, is on like an 8-game West Coast trip. So it's going to get worse for them. And now I will say this. There's something wrong. There's something wrong in Toronto. I don't know if the coach has lost them. I don't know if they hate Van Vliet for taking the second most field goals on the team and having the lowest field goal percentage in the league when he's supposed to be the point guard. He's supposed to be the point guard. Leader. That's
the chemistry is not there.
That's not a good. So the Raptors, I don't know if you remember, but the Raptors, the year they won the championship, for the 5 years before then, only one team had more wins than them. It was the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. That was it.
If you think about the Golden State Warriors, that dynasty, only they had more wins than the Raptors. And it all started when Masai Ujiri was going to trade everybody. Lowry was on the block. DeRozan was on the block. Rudy Gay was on the block. Rudy Gay was the first domino to fall, and they trade him for this package of like 3-4 guys, like a bunch of role players.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they start winning games.
Yep.
So it was like addition by subtraction. I think that's where they are today. They need to move on.
So
I think they need to trade Fred VanVleet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I saw the Kings game last night, and I think it was the second quarter when you guys put Scotty Barnes as point guard. I really liked that because he was making fantastic passes. He's a very smart player in terms of taking shots too. His defense is great. His defensive awareness is great. I think he's the future for Toronto, in my opinion, and I feel like his position should be point guard because when you have a guy like Fred VanVleet who takes a lot of shots and doesn't really pass it a lot, when you guys have great scorers like Pascal, OG, Gary Trent, who's mainly a scorer, I think the chemistry is just off. But also, I've seen
and they used Scotty Barnes last year. They used him more at the point. He's actually the first guy to actually start as a rookie, the first player to start at all 5 positions since Magic. The first rookie, to start at all 5 positions since Magic. Yeah.
Tone, I told you VanVleet is a rotation guard. I told you that.
Right. You're right.
I told you that, Tone.
Right.
But in my opinion, I feel like also another problem is I've seen a lot of Raptors games because although I'm a Pistons fan, I kind of do like the Raptors ever since 2019. I've noticed a lot of your plays, a lot of your offense is mainly on Pascal. He just drives to the basket and just misses it. And also in the fourth quarter,
drive,
he's not
spin,
good.
Move, miss layup.
Yeah. And in the fourth quarter, he's not good. But then you have a guy like Scotty Barnes, who in the fourth quarter, in my opinion, is great. He's closed a lot of games. So for me, Scotty Barnes, I mean, I don't think he's ready in terms of scoring as being the number one guy.
But he's a facilitator. Yeah, I'm with you.
He's a great facilitator.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Haley, what's the most disappointing team for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, Golden State, obviously, just because I'm a
so Big Bay destroyed you, by the way.
Yeah. Hey, we weren't even mad when he hit that shot. Like, you can't stop that. It was good. They kept working. We didn't. So, again, our turnovers are disgusting, and they're just adding up. I'm over it. But at this point, if we don't get a big, I'm just not looking. I'm just gonna. Hey, if my Niners win, I'm all good. That's like all I'm banking on right now. So, but coming off of a championship.
Lions fan, so
Okay.
It hurts every single time I watch a
Lions.
team.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah.
I
Hang in
hate
there.
being a
Hang in
fan.
there.
Thank you.
Bright days ahead, buddy, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank you. Hey, chill. I'm
Yeah.
gonna send you a Pistons jersey, man. You gotta put on a nice, decent, good team jersey,
Ooh.
man.
There you go.
I'll send you a Pistons jersy, man.
Okay.
All right, man. You guys have a great night.
Take care, buddy.
Bye. Have a good night.
All right, next up we got
I like him.
Zay in the clutch. Zay, you should be focusing on the chat, but okay.
Mine is when Indigo.
Hold on.
Zay, hello.
All right, while we wait for his internet to connect, Mateo.
Oh,
What's good?
Hi.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah. What up?
Yeah, we got you.
All right. Basically, first take. I think this just peaked. It's not all time, but I think
This dude is not confident about what he about to say. I can tell right now. I can
It's a
tell.
hot take.
Come on, B. Come on, man. Wear it. Come to the stripe and knock the free throws down. Knock them down, man. What you scared of?
All right. So y'all think peak Boogie better than like peak Shaq?
I think peak.
I think
I saw that
I
conversation.
think peak Boogie.
Better
If he
than
could have
Shaq?
kept, I think he could. I think he could have been an all-time great had he not broken down. No, he was not better than peak Shaq, though. No,
Why? 'Cause his
absolutely
team?
not.
'Cause his team?
No, not just because his team. Shaq was a better overall player in every aspect. I don't know if you noticed, my man. I'm glad you mentioned that because you only looking at one side of the basketball. Do you know that the year that Shaq won the league MVP, he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year? Did you know that? No, you didn't know that. I'm sure you didn't know that.
You didn't have to come out to the perimeter.
And I'm glad you brought up coming out to the perimeter. He didn't need to, and the reason why he didn't need to is because he was dominant in his own game, and he didn't need to do that, right? And he didn't need to. Are you sitting here telling me that Boogie was better than Shaq? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
He's saying peak.
In his peak. So Shaq's from 1999 2000 to let's say 2005. You telling me that Boogie was better than Shaq?
I think it's an argument.
I don't think it's close. No,
I'm with you, Mateo. I'm with you, Mateo. I
don't think it's close. I don't think it's close.
Shaq's a bum. He couldn't hit a
When
three.
I see what they do in the post, and that's Shaq's best aspect. When I watch Boogie in his prime, in his peak, I see a lot of the same thing. But he can also ball handle. He can also shoot. He can also distribute. He can play make better. That's what I see.
All right, you know what, Mateo? Next week we're kicking off the show with a debate about Boogie or Shaq. I appreciate you, brother. All right, Zay. I'm gonna make a case. I'm gonna make a case for Pete Boogie.
Oh my God, we're doing this.
That's crazy.
Hey, just my man, just so you know, you only here for a couple of minutes. I gotta put up with this on a regular from this dude.
I think Mateo. I bet you Mateo.
This is what I gotta put up with on a regular from
get some good gelato from too.
I already know.
On a regular, fam.
But real quick, I just wanted to say some. I have a question, but real quick, I just wanted to say, I think we need to just real quick just give respect to y'all. Because I know what y'all have to put up with. I see the chat. I'm a moderator. I see the chat. I know what y'all have to deal with. So, like, y'all need extra respect and whatnot for what y'all have to deal with on the daily, even outside of just player's choice. So, respect to y'all for that.
That's
For
so
sure.
sweet.
For sure. I know it's not noticed as much, but I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So, quick question for y'all. I know in like today's era, you have like the Alex Caruso's, the Taco Falls, the underrated, or not really underrated, but the overhyped, players that are just fan favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So back in your day, like in 2000s, around 1990s, 2000s, all then, who would you guys say was like your fan favorite players?
I'm a huge fan of the Dirty Work guy. So I'm the Marcus Smarts, the Udonis Haslams, AC Green, Horace Grant. Oh, I love those guys because we're not winning without them. Because as good as Jordan was, as good as Magic was, who's the guy that's diving on the floor for loose balls? Who's the guy in the huddle going, can you score the rest of the points? Yes. Okay, I'll deal with 24. Who's that guy? And that's who AC Green was. That's who Ho Grant was. That's who Udonis Haslam was. We need those guys. Oh, I love those guys.
So, are you saying our fan favorites?
Yeah,
or
like your
we saw
favorite.
that were your fans
like,
loved.
Like your fan favorites. Like right now,
mine
is
are
like
different.
Kelly Oubre.
Mine are different.
Why?
Mine are different.
College. Like
Like
since
mine
college,
are
different.
Caliber is my
Yeah.
guy. So like,
Oh,
who was
okay.
your
Nice.
guy from like the time they came in the league?
Okay, so that's why I was gonna say mine are different because I understand what Chill says. Like I remember Jerome Williams, Junkyard Dog. Like fans used to love him. He was a dirty work guy. But for me as a shooter, I always looked at like Dana Barrows, Dale Ellis, Glenn Rice. Those were my guys that I was like Del Curry. I'm like I like those guys because they do what I want to do. Like they just spot up and like whoop, do nothing else. So those were always the guys I looked at because I tried to emulate my game after those guys. So I love those guys.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
Do you have any, Hailey?
Oh, I mean, I guess. Well, obviously, like Steph, because I'm watching Steph and Dame. But I know I sound but I think
that's like me saying Kobe. Like
I know.
Obviously,
but like
I mean, as a Warriors fan, I don't hate it. I'm not mad at it at all.
Oh, you're a Warriors fan? Okay, yeah. So, but I think some of the newer guys like that we can actually watch. I've watched through like college and come into the league. That I'm really excited for. I would say I'm excited for Anthony Edwards' career. I don't like where he is on the Timberwolves, but I think he can be so special. Jonathan Kuminga, like he's barely getting minutes. He's gonna probably go back to the G League here and there, but I think he's gonna be something really special too. So just some of these young dudes, man, like we say we're gonna go back into like a big men's league and guards are gonna kind of like obviously we'll still see guards coming in, but I'm excited to see some of these guys start dominating and see where they go.
It's because they tricked. It's because they tricked the big man to go outside. He's to get back inside, right, Chill?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I'm going crazy, but we'll see.
All right,
I don't know if it's ridiculous. So,
yeah.
Hey, good to talk to you, brother. Appreciate
it.
Thank you.
No
Have
doubt.
a good night.
All right, Joe Buck, my favorite baseball announcer. What up, Joe?
What up? What up?
This is not Joe Buck.
I got a couple things. You said you guys come on with smoke, so I got smoke for you guys.
Okay, all right.
First thing, I'm a kid from Buffalo, so you got to come to Buffalo, get a beer with me sometime. But
I'm only an hour 15 minutes away, bro.
Hey,
I'm there.
Hey,
I'm there for wings and beer. I'm in.
But
especially you got the next season, we'll go to a game. All right, Aaron, go ahead. Bills Mafia.
Yes, exactly. But I was gonna say last time I was on, I was pressing Chill about this is gonna be quick because I have an actual thing I want to talk about. But you said that the Celtics squad last year was a better better defense than the Suns, and the defensive rating was only.
I said that.
You did. You said that Marcus Smart had a better defensive unit behind him. That was probably what you said.
That's a fact. He did have a better defensive unit behind him than we were talking about Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges and Marcus Smart. That's what we were talking about.
Was it substantial enough for that was the reasoning why Mikal Bridges should have got it?
Yes, they were the number one defense in the league. And the Phoenix Suns.
That 0.6 in defensive rating swings the scale that much?
What do you mean defensive rating? The Boston Celtics had the number one defense in the league. Numero uno. They were number one.
Cut out, sorry. What was it?
The Boston Celtics had the numero uno defense in the league. And the Phoenix Suns were at the bottom of the top 10. So, yes, he had arguably the best rim protector in the game playing behind him. Mikal Bridges didn't have any of that. Mikal Bridges didn't have any of that. Phoenix, on the other hand, were at the bottom of the top 10 in defense.
Of what?
In defense. They were at the bottom of the top 10.
In defense of what?
I think they were 8th overall in defense that year. As opposed to, and forget the defensive rating. We're arguing about a team that was the best defense in the league. That's what we're talking about.
So what metric are you using to?
What metric am I using? Yeah. I'm using the metric that he was playing on the best defense in the league. That's the metric I'm using.
I get that.
What else is there to talk about?
Time out. Because we got 10 people waiting.
Far off as you're making it.
Make your point. Make your point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the defensive units in comparison weren't as far off as you're making it seem to be.
Boston was the number one defense in the league. Phoenix was the number 8 defense in the league. What are we talking about here?
Well,
they were
okay, I'll get past that because I actually want to talk about something different. But what I wanted to talk about was I think that the Celtics coach needs to be looked at here because I'm getting real pissed off with how they're playing right now. These crappy teams, these Magic and all these teams, we're playing down to when we play them. Everything is going down. Our shooting, we're not shooting the 45%, which I knew wasn't going to be sustainable. Our play calling and our sets are awful. It's just ISO Tatum at the top of the key, give him a screen, and hope he bails you out.
I hate that. I do.
I'll say this.
There's no action off the basketball.
Thank you. And when literally we're playing the best.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Swing. It's a lob. It's a baseline cut. It's a dump off and a dunk. It's not Jaylen Brown cut and then lose the ball, look for someone to kick to, and this. I hate it. I hate it so much.
So do you think that they miss their old coach and they should?
I don't think I think Ime's sets. They were better, but I don't think they were. I didn't like it either. It was still the same
thing.
Think
they need to go in a completely different direction?
I wish we would have tried to pull the trigger on Kenny Atkinson, but I don't even know if that was an option. I've always liked Mark Jackson, to be honest. I've wanted the Celtics to get Mark Jackson for years, but I don't even know.
I did Kenny Atkinson. Yes, he is. Mark Jackson definitely is. But Kenny Atkinson, he got ran out of Brooklyn, and that was a bad look. That was a good coach, and he got ran out of Brooklyn. And I still don't like that to this day. I don't know if he works for what you guys are doing, but I think that he's a head coach in the NBA. Yes, I do believe that.
Is it Steph's fault that they blackballed Mark Jackson?
No, it had nothing. It was San Francisco's fault that happened.
Yeah. All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Thanks for your question.
No doubt.
Let me know when you want to go get that beer. All right, Chris G. He thinks I'm kidding.
Hello.
That's where we go shopping. We got to go shopping. We go to Buffalo and Detroit. That's where we go do our shopping.
Call you up. Come through there.
That's fire. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. What up?
What's chill? What's going on?
What up?
I was tuning into the panel on Tuesday. I guess I kind of want to talk about y'all's definition of respect. So,
what?
Respect?
I wanted to hear you guys' definition on respect.
Okay.
So, I was watching with Mars and Elder. You know, they was kind of going back and forth. Got a little personal.
Yeah.
You know, Dell and Dub, you know, jumped in because, you know, it's getting a little bit testy.
Right.
In my opinion, I do think that disrespect was shown on both sides. I do think that they were over talking Elder, especially when they wanted to ask Fluent a question. Yeah. So I do think that they was wrong there. But I do think telling someone to shut up or calling them a little boy, trying to degrade them, I think that was also disrespectful. So I do think there's disrespect on both sides. I do hope that they do work it out. But I wanted to ask you guys is like your own thoughts of what happened on Tuesday. Like, do y'all see?
I was gone. I wasn't there. I had already left at that point. But when you're having a debate, right? When you're having a debate works very simply. Like just right now, it's a conversation. Even though it's a disagreement, it's still a conversation. You talk, I listen. I talk, you listen. I'm not going to talk over you. Don't talk over me. And the minute we start to get personal, the debate is over because we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
And
it's tough, right? Like when we do, this is why I think the three of us at least enjoy this show. Not that I love being on the panel, don't get me wrong, and Gridiron for that matter, and the other shows that I'm on. But this is more of a conversation. Sometimes when you get into those debates, people do take things personal and they get heated. And you just have to understand, some people just need to get it out. Some people are going to interrupt you. I don't care. You want to talk over me? I'll just stop talking. At some point, you're going to have to stop. And then, you know, I always feel like if you get emotional and start yelling and screaming, I feel like I've kind of won. Because if you get that angry, I've clearly said something that struck a nerve. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, there are going to be times like we talk to each other a lot, right? Me and Jay have gotten into yelling matches.
Yes, we have.
It's more like a brother thing, right? Where we do it, we say it, and we get over it, and we move on.
I'm not going to get personal with Tone. Tone's not going to get. No, we ain't doing that. No,
there are some things. There are some things. You probably see my facial expression. There are some things that are like I didn't like you saying that, but yeah, I don't.
And then there's times when I say stuff to Tone, and he's like, "What?" And then we'll hold, and then we'll get into it. But there's always a respect there because I respect Tone's knowledge and I respect what he does. So I don't.
Right.
I always respect
I
the line.
hear what you're saying. It's there's some things like there are some things that happen that day and other days that are just like.
And I think if you're dominating dominating every conversation, like, of course there's going to be times, like, there's days like I'll talk more, talk less, like, you know, everybody has a time and place or something they're passionate about. We're here because we're passionate about talking about basketball, right? But I think that if you're dominating every single conversation without listening to what somebody else has to say to you, and this goes further than sports, this goes into your relationships, your family life, your work life. If you're constantly doing that, that's a you problem. You should probably check yourself out. So but great question.
Yeah, good question, man. I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Because my whole thing is like, because I don't want, well, just me personally, because I know Elder and Ticket, I know they're very tight, they're very close. Yeah. So, and you know that when it comes to Ticket, especially if anyone is disrespecting Elder in any kind of way, that's his boy. So he's gonna have his back. And I know Mars and Ticket, they don't have the best relationship. From what I can tell, if it's behind closed doors that they have a good relationship, then hey, they have a good relationship.
Hey, maybe Mars and Dub and Ticket and Rufus can have a tag team battle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll watch that.
I'll be down for that.
Definitely tune in for that. There, people will definitely tune in for that.
It's gonna go.
Right, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
All right, brother. Good to talk to you, brother.
Remember, this is just
All right.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Oh, that was weird. It just reshuffled. It reshuffled where everybody was.
What do you got for us tonight?
Well, first, I'd like to start off what Zay had said. There's a lot of weird people in the chat. I'm also a moderator, and I work behind the scenes with players, right? So I watch every show. I'm always tuned in, and there's a lot of weird people in these chats, man. It's very sad to see all these things go through. I think people are funny or whatever, but I was gonna Fluent. You had said earlier. I don't know if because I wasn't really paying attention because I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I had my headphones on, and I heard you say that you don't like the way the All-Star game is formatted this year. You had said that.
I don't like the All-Star game the way that it. Yeah, I don't like it. Correct.
So
yes.
the way I see it is, I really like it because the way they're doing it this year. I know you probably saw it, is they're gonna pick the teams on the court right before the game. So the way I see it is like back in school playing with your friends. You shoot for captain. I want him. It's like that. I really like that they changed it like that because I didn't really like them picking the teams on TV like the day before or whatever. We got to see the players' expressions. Whoever gets picked last, like, all right, you pick me last, I'm about to go cookie right now on the court. Say less. So I really like the way they set it up this year. I don't know.
I'm down with Tone. I want to go back to the East West.
I like that too, but I also really enjoy that they're gonna pick the teams on the court now. I really think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And
what about the like mid-season tournament or
I don't even know what's going on.
What do you feel about that? Is that happening for sure?
I have no idea. I heard about it before the season started, and I asked the same thing like the other day, and nobody knows what's gonna happen.
Nothing more since Yeah.
And another thing too is I was gonna say, Hailey, I know you're a Warriors fan. And to me personally, I hate the way that they use James Wiseman. I don't know if I'm crazy saying this, but I really think he could be like the next coming of like Chris Bosh or something. He's a big man that can shoot, that can stretch the floor, rebound the ball. And the way that they're using him, I don't really like that. They're trying to like make him space the floor or whatever. I think they should put him on the block and run the offense through him in the post. And I feel like he could strive somewhere else instead of the Warriors. And
your boys got me thinking. Your boys got me thinking Wiseman can't play. That's what they got me thinking.
I don't.
Look,
I think he could play.
We'll take him. We'll take him and Dame.
I agree with you. I just think with the current system, like you're not going to change Steph's play, Clay's play, the way that team interacts, right? So, so we'll have to see, but I don't know if he's going to fit in with the unit, honestly.
Good to talk to you, brother.
Yeah,
all right, appreciate it, man. Thanks for all the stuff you do behind the scenes.
No doubt.
We probably good there. Are we good there, Fluent?
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay.
And now we got Nate. I don't know if you can see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we got 5 people waiting. So we'll try to go through them a little bit because we are short on time.
So so I was tuned into PC Gridiron the other day, and Fluent wasn't up there, but they were talking about
Monday night. Monday night.
I think so. Yeah. But they were talking about Mahomes and saying he's already top 5 and top 3.
Oh, they carried that. They carried that over to Wednesday too. We had that discussion as well.
Yeah. So I was just trying to get y'all's take on that because I think that's like a very nasty take. Not to take anything.
You know what?
Not to take anything away from Patrick Mahomes because I think he is definitely on a trajectory for that. But
I was against it last year when Dub actually said he already had Mahomes at 5. I was against it, and I said, watch. I said, you watch and see now. His big money kicked in. His best receiver's gone. Let's see what he does this year. And what I said on Wednesday, and I'll say it again, is that would I put Mahomes right now at 5? Too early for me. But when you think about it this way. Most people's top 3, most people in some order is Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, whatever order that is. Typically Brady first, and then I've seen Montana and Manning flip flop. But then when you get into 4, 5, kind of 6, 7, there's a ton of names, right? Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Johnny Unitas, Elway, Dan Marino, right? There's a lot of those guys. And if you look at Mahomes' resume, although short, it compares to all of them.
Yes, it does.
In terms of accolades, in terms of now, not total yards, but like per season, it matches up with them. So you could debate, especially if he goes out and plays well, win or lose against the Bengals. If he goes out and plays well today, basically every single year he's been a starter, he's made it to the AFC Championship game. In 5 years, he's been there 5. This will be his 5th time. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1, and we know the one that he lost was against the greatest quarterback of all time with no offensive line running for his life. So, can I make that argument? Yeah, I can make that argument. So,
he won the league MVP too. Don't leave that part out.
For me, it was just a little premature because it's not guaranteed he's gonna get another chip. So, like Aaron Rodgers, once he came in, everybody thought he was going to keep getting chips or whatever. Nobody thought at this point he'd only have 1. Brett Favre, if you look at his first 6 years, Brett Favre came in, won 3 back-to-back MVPs, won a Super Bowl, then went to another one, and then never went to the Super Bowl ever again after that.
So check this out. In a 5-year career, Patrick Mahomes will have more conference championships than Favre and Rodgers, more Super Bowl appearances than Favre and Rodgers, the same amount of Super Bowl wins as Favre
Marino too.
And Rodgers, and
Marino in terms of, again, records broken, most yards in the season, most touchdowns in the seasons, got all of those guys beat. And so and he's about to win his 2nd MVP. So that's all I'm saying is I think you're right. I think it's a little early, but he's not even that far. Like, it's not like the only thing he's missing is longevity. Yeah.
He can play
I think that's
more years and catch them in accolades, which I think is insane. I think if you do more in less time, that should be applauded. For
sure. I just think it's a little premature.
Might be.
Yeah. But y'all have a good night.
All right, brother.
Good
talk to you.
And thanks for your patience. All right, let's see if we got my boy SB Talk Sports. If he's back at the switchboard.
I'm back. What's up? See, look, I was just listening because they just put the old Nintendo 64 007, so I was playing. And then I heard you. I couldn't believe you said this, Floyd. You said Pram Boogie was better than Shaq. You know me from TikTok. So look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna make sure I clip it and put it on TikTok. I'm putting you in the bad take book. I'm gonna write your name.
Get the book out.
Explain this.
Get the book out.
I got time today, but Fluent, you in the book.
Dudes, are you serious? Do you remember? Do you remember the Diesel? Do you remember the Diesel? Remind him of the Diesel.
Look, it ain't about Shaq.
Let's be fair.
Peak Boogie at his prime only won 33 games with the Sacramento Kings. And he missed like 20, 30 games that year.
Can we be clear? Listen, let's be clear. This sound is from my soundboard. As is more of them. But let's be very clear. Joe Buck came on here and said he believes a case could be made that Prime Boogie is better than Shaq. He also said he's in Buffalo and he's buying the beers. So I said, well, if that's the case and you buying the beers, I will help you make that case, is what I said.
No.
You're backtracking
now. That is not what happened.
A tall Miller Lite gonna make you say something crazy like that?
Hold on, Shaq. Shaq. Not Shaq.
First of all, it was two different people.
Chill. Who's my favorite team? Who's my favorite team?
He a Laker dude.
Who's my favorite center of all time?
Diesel.
You got Diesel over Kareem?
I said favorite. I said favorite.
Oh, okay.
I said favorite. I'm not. Come on. I'm not being held. I'm not being held to Boogie.
You can't. Nope. I'm not entertaining this conversation. I'm not doing it.
But Joe's listening and laughing. Joe, I will help you make that case for the free beers. Absolutely, we will have.
It's a losing battle.
For a beer? That's what I'm saying.
I can make a case for anything. I'm gonna show you how good I am. I'm gonna make a case for it. That's what I said.
Okay.
It's a matter of fact.
Hey, look, I'm gonna make sure you get clipped. I'm gonna make sure you get clipped. You got to explain it on TikTok because
I was
White, Prime Moses. Look, I might take Prime Tyson Chandler over him. Look, that's disrespectful.
Hey. See, now we're getting
I'm gonna make a case that Prime Mark Eaton was a better shot blocker than.
We gotta stop.
No.
I'm in. Joe, we're gonna do it, Joe. Yes, so no. Okay. Was that it, or did you have something else?
No, that was it because I was playing 007, man.
All right, go play 007, brother.
That's my man. That's my man right. That's my man right there.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
All right, y'all.
Have a good night.
We watch. We're gonna make that case. Boogie over Shaq. I'm in. Dev.
What's up, Fluent? What's up, Chill Town? Big fans. I love all
the
takes.
What up?
I just want y'all to educate me real quick on the Bill Walton because every time I hear you guys bring him up, you guys like get him out of there, because I don't know much about him.
That's
and
him.
Usually, guys,
that's 100% me.
And I don't, because I know a lot about basketball and the old guys. So you educate me on why the Bill Walton name.
Yeah. I'm Bill Walton had one phenomenal season in the NBA for the Trailblazers, and he led them to an NBA championship. Mm-hmm. And everybody seems to forget, if you add up his entire 10 whatever year career, the amount of games and minutes he played only add up to about a 5-year career. He would, and people and people fall in love with what he did in college, which was phenomenal. But
you can't use it in the NBA.
In the NBA, he was a part-time guy, and so he was a starter in Portland. And when he played well, but he just was always hurt. And then when he went to Boston, he was coming off the bench. And again, playing like 18, 20 minutes a game. So to put a guy like that in the top 75, in the top 50, I think it's unfair to players that actually played. Like,
that makes sense.
I pull it up. I don't have it handy, but I'll read it. I can find it really quick because I have it. Here we go. So Bill Walton in his seasons. Okay. So he played. So first of all, 13-10 for his career. Like, it's nice. It's a double-double, but that's not something you think all-time great. Here's the amount of games he played for his career. 35, 51, 65, 58. Then he misses a season with an injury. Plays 14. Misses 2 seasons because of injury. Then plays 33, 55, 67. The only time he plays a lot of games is his second last season. Coming off the bench, he only starts 2 games for the Celtics. He plays 80 games. The next season, 10.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Not only that, he played 32 minutes. 34 minutes was his high. The last 5 years of his career, 24 minutes, 26 minutes, 24 minutes, 19 minutes, 11 minutes. Dude did not play. He was not a full-time starter.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? So that's why that's fair. Because to him, I know that it was injuries. He had bad feet. It's just you can't.
No, it's fair because like we can't use those what else because like Kawhi Leonard, for example, Kawhi Leonard has probably played more games than him, and he has more of an impact when he wins. And if we got to knock it down for injuries, not playing, that's very fair because there's a lot of players if they would have played like Tracy McGrady. Let's say if he had a full career, we probably have him higher.
I don't want to play. Yeah, we can't play the ifs, right? We got to go by what actually happened. Yeah.
And also, Chilltown prediction for this Sunday. I do got the Eagles winning. Very close game. I just believe in the Eagles core. I think I want reason why is because I want Jalen Hurts to win because the way they were trashing Jalen Hurts before the draft process. I love his improvement from college. I love his story. Mm-hmm. So, but I do love the 49. I do love Brock Purdy. Like either one. And my bold prediction is that whoever wins that game is winning the Super Bowl. That's my prediction.
The bowl champion coming out the NFC.
Coming out the NFC.
And good luck to your Chicago Bears. Fluent. I'm
in the draft.
For you.
Yeah. Garbage.
We stink in the draft too.
Garbage.
Falcons. Hopefully we get Lamar or something.
Yeah.
But that's it. But that's it. I appreciate you guys for letting me.
Brother.
Big
Have a good night.
Appreciate it, Dev. All right, we got two more. Devontae.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
What up, man? How are
you?
What's good? What's good? I'm doing well. Yo, Chilltown, I got a question for you, man. I just want to know, like, how do you have a guy like Bill Russell ahead of Kobe all time, man? Like that kind of just bothers me a little bit, man. Because when I look
me
at,
too.
Yeah, like when I look at like who Bill Russell was playing against, and when I looked at his numbers, he was a center who never shot over 47% from the field. He had one postseason run where he shot 52% from. That was the only season, and he had like 4 other postseason runs where he shot 30% in the field, 30% from the field. Wow.
And still averaged 20 and 20 in the playoffs. Still did that.
Yeah, but when Wilt Chamberlain came in the league in 59, there was only four players total who was over 6'8". Like he was really going up against like.
So he only played 1 year? That's what you're telling me?
Excuse me?
So he only played 1 year? Because Wilt showed up in 59. How many years did Wilt play?
Wilt played I believe it was 11 or 12.
He played 13 years. He played till 73. Okay, so with that also being said, because the league was as small as it was, the better competition, I had to see him more. So I had to see Wilt more. I had to see Willis Reed more. I had to see Nate Thurman more. I had to see.
But most of the talent was on the Celtics, though, man.
Most of the talent was on the Celtics, and I could say the same thing about the NBA back then. It was of the 28 teams, most of the talent. It wasn't like the talent was equally divided.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this. I don't have Bill Russell in my top 10. I'll add this in quickly. Sorry, go ahead. No, let me add it in quickly. Although he averaged, like you said, 17 points and 47%, go back and look. However, in that era, those were both top 10 points per game and field goal percentages every single year. So although it doesn't look good in today's standards, it was good for then. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
He's the best winner in NBA history. That's number one. The team that he was on, the reason why they won was because of him. It wasn't because of anybody else. He was the one who pushed them over the top. He still holds the record to this day for the most points and rebounds in a Game 7. Not only that, he had a 4-year stretch where he averaged almost 20 and 20 in the playoffs. Chamberlain is the only other guy who could say that he did that.
But he's a player in the top 10 who never led his team in scoring, though, man. Like this is
that whole buckets thing. I mean, me and you already talked about that, because when you talk about a player's impact, it's not just about buckets. It's not. It's not. It's not just about numbers. That team that Bill Russell got on, that team, how much better he made them defensively. Not only how much better he made them defensively, how much better he made them offensively. How much better he made them as a rebounder, as a defensive player, as a transition player. I think you're looking at Kobe Bryant from a talent aspect, which I cannot fight that. Kobe Bryant, I believe, is a top 10 talent. I will not fight that. But when I think about what Bill Russell contributed to the game, because again, my criteria for an all-time great is your game timeless. Did you dominate? Did you win? Was your game impactful? How were you socially? All 5 of those things put Bill Russell is a top 5 player for me all time.
But I'm talking about just as a player, like you put.
I don't do that. I don't do that. I do not. I don't do that player to play. I don't do that because I care about what you produce too. Plus, I've seen better players get outplayed, so I don't do that.
All right, Devontae, appreciate it, man. I am actually with you. I don't have Bill Russell in my top 10. So last one is going to be Primo. Thanks, Devontae. What you got, Primo?
Primo like the. Primo, like DJ
Premier. Like I thought it was like Primo Pasta. That stuff.
Oh no. DJ Premier. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the title. I'm bringing back to the title. They say because LeBron was on the front, and they said that it's empty stats what he giving up, right? One LeBron on the front for the
unintentionally, but yeah, he is, yeah.
Right. But when LeBron on the floor, the Lakers are winning team. You got to check the stats. That's a real stat. When he's on the floor, the Lakers are a winning team. What you got to say, Fluent?
I think they did. I think before yesterday. I think before yesterday. I think they've won 9 of their last 12 or 9 of their last 13 games. I think they won something like that.
Yeah,
I want them to be a winning team. I want them to go to the finals and win the chip.
I know you do, but
at the same time, and look, I didn't put LeBron, but we put LeBron because people like seeing LeBron. That being said, I think there's a lot of players in this game that sometimes lose focus on what's important, which is winning. And sometimes they look at, if I'm going to lose this game, I don't care as long as I get some stats. So even LeBron, who when he's on the court, the Lakers win. There are times in the fourth quarter where they're down 20 or up 20, maybe not as much this season, where he has no business being out there, but he's still out there getting buckets. And I think that has to do with the fact that he is very aware of his legacy, and he knows what he knows his team's not good enough to win a championship. Are the Lakers good enough to win a chip this year? Yeah, you're right. Who's not? You're absolutely who's not. You're absolutely right.
The great Michael Jordan went out there and did that same thing too. I watched
Michael Jordan, and he said it himself. And I'm not saying he never did it, but if Michael Jordan wanted to chase records, he never would have retired. That first time, he never would have retired.
The first time,
yeah, the first time.
That's what I'm saying. Which I think was great. What about the Wizards time? Why he come back?
He came. I already explained
that. That was a business decision.
He came back for money.
That was a business decision.
Not money for him. Not money for him.
No, that was a business decision, no doubt.
Not money for him.
That was a
business decision.
Money for the team. Money for the team that he was a part owner of. That was a part of it. 1,000%.
That was a part of it.
Financial.
But the
Mike was done though. He was done playing basketball.
But the greatest competitor didn't want to win. Not Mike. Not the greatest who want to win.
Point, your priorities changed.
He came back to the Wizards for money.
No, for the team, not for his money, not for his own money. For the team.
Money patent. Okay.
The team, as I mentioned before, the team was 25th or 27th in attendance, and he was a part owner, and they needed to get that up to the top 2 or 3 because.
So it wasn't about winning.
No, it was not about winning. Absolutely
not. This is what I'm saying. That's a flaw on Mike's record. We got to put that on Mike's record.
Hey, tell him. Was it about winning or was it?
No, it wasn't. No, he got coaxed into the idea that he was going to own the team. That's why he came back.
There you go.
That was part of the deal. It was a business thing, no doubt about it. It was a business deal.
All I'm saying is we seen the greatest of all time.
Now I'm pretty sure that if James in 2 years, if the Phoenix Suns go, yo, my man. We can give you 50% of the team.
James is different. James is different because James is already a billionaire. I think the thing you guys need the thing you need to forget, how much was Michael Jordan making for the first?
Well, he gave his first salary. The first year he played for free.
No.
First year he played. The first year with the Wizards.
Both years he made nothing.
Was on when he went
I know the first year he played.
No. Let me finish.
So was it both of them? I didn't know. I didn't know it was both of them.
His 2 years with the Wizards. Hold on. His 2 years with the Wizards. The 2 years with the Wizards, he got paid $1 million and donated the whole amount. So eliminate that. I'm talking as a player.
1 year.
As a player, from his rookie season until his third last season, he made like a combined maybe $20 million. He was the most underpaid athlete in the world.
And what last season?
Until his third last season with
he
the
made
Bulls.
He made $90 million in last. He made 90 million.
So
he made 90 million. He made 90 million in the last.
He making contracts they make now. He was making 30 in 19.
Yeah, you're ignoring what I'm saying. The first 10 years from 84 till the first retirement, he was never even the number 1 paid player in the NBA.
Yeah,
Not
by
one.
the NBA,
he was making $1 million, $4 million. Yeah, I don't care. Endorsements are different. So up until that point, he didn't have the money like a LeBron who's playing and already a billionaire. So he made that money in his last 3 seasons.
Yeah, more money than
when he came out. So when he came out of that $90 million contract, he was retired. He was done. They allowed him to become part owner of the Wizards. I think they were the Wizards at that time. Yeah. And they said, hey, we no one's coming to watch us. We need to do something. Let's do this. It was 100% to build up the franchise that he was going to own.
This is what I'm saying. You act like he just scraped that 90 million up and that was it. He had
but he made that in 3 years. He made that in 3 years. Go back and look at the other 8 years. Go back and look. Go back and look when Ron Harper was making more money than him in '93.
Wait, what are we talking about
here?
People make more money
than LeBron.
Wait. What? I don't understand what it is.
Never been the highest paid player in the NBA. What
LeBron's
that mean?
never been the highest paid player in the NBA. I don't know. I'd have to look at
Ron
that.
has never been the highest paid player in the NBA. Never.
it's all what's coming out from outside, you know. Of course, he probably made. Obviously,
that's
we know
what Jordan was getting when he left the league. He was up. He was on, and the inflation,
but,
the money.
But remember, Mike was just like James. Mike was responsible for a lot of other people getting paid. Isaiah said that. He was responsible for a lot of other people.
Yeah, he's the one that taught them to be a business.
Yeah, so no doubt about that.
Most legendary player. We know that. He's not the best, but he's the most legendary.
Check it out. Check it out. He made $1 million. $1 million.
You talking about his contract, right? Hold on.
I'm just from 84 to 87. From 84 to 87, he got paid $1 million a year, which is insane.
And he signed that 8-year deal. He signed an 8-year deal.
He signed an 8-year deal from 88 to 95, where it was 8 years, $25 million. So $3 million a year. Magic was making more than him. Ron Harper was making more than him. He was like 7th in the league. So he was not making his money. Then you're right. Then when he goes back and comes back, he gets 30 on a 1-year deal, 30 on a 1-year deal, 30 on a 1-year deal. Absolutely. Because you know why?
And that was during the time.
Because Jerry Reinsdorf opened up his big mouth and said, I don't mind paying him $30 million because I'm making $300 million off of him. So he said,
guess what?
Give it to me again.
Run it.
But look, this is what I'm saying. Outside of basketball, Michael Jordan was already rich. He was on already. You keep bringing up these contracts. And you think LeBron can get out the NBA and spend his $1 billion on the NBA team right now? No, that's not enough money to buy an NBA team.
What you get paid for your sport is not about the money necessarily that you put in your bank account. It's about the respect and what it means in the league. That's why people will say, I believe Will Chamberlain, I forget which one said, my next contract, $1 more. Because
I'm a historian.
You're going to pay me to be the best. So it has less to do with, and I think for Jordan, it had a lot to do with the fact that he felt
they owed him
ownership.
More than 30. They owed him $100 million a year.
There you go. There you go.
But that didn't mean when he got out, he was just some dude that scraped up a con. He had made $1 billion for them already. He was probably worth $500 million when he got out. It's about the same equivalent to when LeBron leave. The money is inflated now. How much you think the Lakers were?
Over
the Lakers.
Over $5 billion.
At least
so
$5
where's
billion.
LeBron gonna get in with his little money?
They're gonna give him a franchise with partnership. They're gonna find him some investors to get a team in Vegas.
And by the way, that $1 billion, that ain't $1 billion in cash. That's $1 billion.
Exactly.
That's net worth.
Yeah, that's net worth of $1 billion.
So he's coming out just like MJ.
Yeah, we'll definitely take it. So, hey, my man, it's good to talk to you, brother. I appreciate it. No doubt, my man.
Yeah. All right, man.
Thanks for coming on.
No doubt.
We want to do rapid fire. Time? I know it's super duper late.
Yeah. We can. Yeah. Let's do. Okay, Jaden. Who would you rather as a second option, Clay or RIP?
That's you.
Or Rip.
Who's
that Rip Hamilton?
Richard Hamilton. Yeah.
Rip Hamilton. Probably Rip.
I'll go with Clay.
Go Clay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here I'll just read them. Alex Pickering. I hate that if you lose, your numbers don't matter. You can play well and still lose.
That's true.
We all agree. Yes.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
MC Robinson. Drazen Petrovic, one of many players who didn't back down against Jordan. Absolutely. They went toe-to-toe. I love Drazen. Eric Dupree. Do you think there will be peace after the heated argument between Elder and the PC crew? Felt like there was disrespect on both sides. Just an opinion. Wish you all the best. We all grown folk. I think I said grown men. Hailey's not a grown man.
Yeah, but sometimes what you see on here, like we talk off, so I'm sure.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Phoenix plays. The Bucks are frauds. Giannis half court always a no.
No, they're not. They're not a fraud. The NBA championship proves that they're not a fraud.
No.
All right. Deshaun. Is that low?
He was talking about the dude with the glasses that we had on the first dude we had on.
No, you never know what happens at Kruger. Stays at Kruger. Brian Holiday. What do you think people will say about LeBron James 30 years from now? Do you think there will be a difference in the old generation and young?
Yeah, absolutely. Tone, you and I have had this conversation in 20 years. In the year 2043, Kobe Bryant will be almost removed from the NBA for 40 years, and you're going to have to listen to your son's friends say that Kobe Bryant played against plumbers, and you're going to want to choke the life out of them. So it's going to be something like that.
Man, I can't wait.
When they tell you LeBron James went up against podcasters,
I'm telling you,
27-7.
Oh my
Look at Thomas Fluent. He be putting up, that's my son. He be putting up 45,
I'm
17,
telling you,
20.
He would have destroyed Kobe. We like, oh my
destroy.
What
Yeah,
do you can't even argue that. No. I can't wait. It's gonna be good.
FIFA boy, chill. What does take light?
Take it light,
what does take it light but take it mean?
It means just be easy, but be easy.
Take it light.
Yeah. That means take care. It means take care, but make sure that you do that when you're doing it. Don't just do it. Do it.
Yes.
Who did Fluent dunk on at the University of Kentucky? Well, I said I dunked on him, but not really. So we were playing a game where we had us high school guys, University of Kentucky players, and former NBA players who are alumni. And I came down the right wing, and I as I went up for my dunk, Kenny Skywalker was on the other side of the key and he turned. So as I dunked it, he was out maybe a step in the key.
It's a difference between dunking on somebody and dunking past them.
Yeah. So I dunked on him. Okay. I went back and said Kenny Ground Walker.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Oh man.
Oh man, but to this day I dunked on him. Shut up. All right.
Okay. Every time it gets a little bit better.
No, I start to tell the truth. The older I get, the more I don't care, and I just tell the truth. Anyways, Chill saying social goes into ranking players is a different type of nasty, man.
Why is that nasty? Why don't you care how a guy affected society? So you don't care how O.J. Simpson affected society? You don't care about that? Because I do. I care about how a guy affected society. Why is that nasty?
I agree. It's nasty.
No.
Because I don't care. I don't
keep
care.
Keep it separate, you mean?
I
what that is different
Yeah,
than
keep
this?
it separate. Like I might not like what OJ did, but he still ran for 2,000 yards in 14 games.
Yes,
I gotta respect that.
Yes, he did.
I might not like what Karl Malone did.
Right. Yes, he did.
But I still gotta respect. If I'm just talking basketball only, I'm gonna tell you, hey, I respect that.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of players like that I think you got to keep. I love what Bill Russell did, but I can't make him a better player because he did those.
And I'm not doing that. Oh, and I'm not doing it just because he did that. No, I'm not doing it because of that neither. No, that's not working.
Oh.
Absolutely not.
R. Kelly. Okay, here's a great example. So do y'all respect? I don't respect R. Kelly. I'll listen to his music. It's good music.
Separate the artist from the.
I separated. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
That's it. We're done.
That's it.
Okay, we just started a fire in the chat, so we're gonna go.
You guys can stay in the chat as long as you want.
Yeah. Talk about OJ.
We're supposed to be a 2-hour show. That's 45 minutes extra. Will be sending everyone my bill. Overtime.
Okay.
Time and a half, Shaq.
Yeah.
Time and a half, Shaq.
Thanks for hanging out, guys. We appreciate y'all.
Joe Buck, I see you're still there, Joe. Just Anthony K at Sports Fluent.
Go grab a beer.
Get those beers and talk about why Prime Boogie's better. I gotta say it with a straight face. Is better than Shaq. All right, y'all.
No way.
Yeah, but good night, guys. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you're watching this weekend, and we will see you next Thursday.
Take it light. Take it light, but take it.
That's my new favorite clip. Generational.